updates to ranked mode, some gunplay adjustments, the return of the black market, and a little boom boom while you zoom zoom. All this and more as we dive into the Update 36.1 patch report. First up, Ranked mode is getting some major changes for Season 36. Ranks now feature 2 new tiers: Crystal between Platinum and Diamond, and Survivor tier for those who can manage to push themselves beyond Master. Ranked Duo mode is being added, while tiers and RP have been unified across party types and perspectives. Because of this, everyone's RP will be reset this season back down to 1500. And ranked playpoint rewards have been improved. So drop in, rank up, and collect your new rewards. In addition, we're also unifying your Battlegrounds experience between ranked and normal matches. This means you'll see the recall system, Red Zone, BRDM, and items like the Zipline gun and C4 in ranked. These are big changes to how ranked works. Be sure to let us know your feedback. Next up, we've got a couple of weapon adjustments coming your way. We've cut down the AUG's aim punch by roughly 50% and slightly reduced its damage, while the VSS and muzzle brake have been buffed. We'll be launching Gunplay Labs DMR Rebalance soon to test the reduced RPM and damage for DMRs. This DMR rebalance aims to strengthen the unique characteristic of DMRs and better differentiate them from SRs. So make sure you drop in and let us know your thoughts. PUBG's annual superstore, the Black Market, is making its return this update. Pick up a new Crafter Pass along with 4 classic progressive weapon skins and 6 chromas. Check out the upcoming Black Market announcement for all the details on how to grab these fan-favorite skins. We've also rebalanced the red zone a bit and added vending machines and destructible pops to Vikendi. And speaking of destruction, players can now toss throwables while driving and use handguns from the driver's seat in Watercraft, just in case you needed to add a little more rage to your road. There's a lot to dive into, so be sure to check out the patch notes for full details on everything. Update 36.1 is here, so stop by the Black Market, brush up on your ranked skills, and toss more out your window than dirty looks. We'll see you on the Battlegrounds.
Every survivor lives for that electrifying moment. One heart-pounding match. One unforgettable thrill. But survival isn't just about one match. It's about how far you'll go, how high you'll climb. Now is the time to discover something bigger about yourself. To turn fleeting moments into a lasting mark. No longer just a moment. It's your legacy.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players' Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
Welcome in, everyone. Day number 2 of the PUBG Player Cup. I'm Mark Power. I'm joined by the amazing Koa. And apologies if you hear jets flying overhead. It's going to be chaotic, but not as chaotic as yesterday was, Koa, because there was a lot of action, lots of C4, a few BDRMs, a couple of people happy, and a few people upset.
I think that's a good summary, yeah. I wouldn't say it's more chaotic than what's happening at your place. We just heard like 3 huge jets going over your house. I'm not sure. I'd be scared, but yeah, we had some fun yesterday. Yesterday was crazy, right? We're still getting used to the new patch. We're still getting used to all the new features. But I would say we had a pretty standard, pretty normal Miramar to start us off. Well played by Ascend. Really good start to the day. Crazy good util. Picking the right fights at the right time. And they started off with an absolute bang. And then the whole chaos started, right?
Yeah, Miramar was calm. We don't take anything away from the sync, because I watched them back today, actually, how they rotated in. It was perfect, and they opted to avoid some fights, but prioritize that sort of zone placement, which was good. Definitely worth mentioning that obviously they got 2 newbies in there as well. Rex and Kidikai's just stepping out, I think chilling out for a bit. Obviously they got 2 stepping, which was good. And then, yeah, as Koa said, this is where the chaos started happening. Will Die was putting all the magic tricks out of the hat. Now, that BRDM didn't last for that much longer from there, but it was good to see. But I think this is where we're starting to start at the point where these players are starting to figure out, okay, as you say, rock, paper, scissors. Okay, well, you might have the rock. Well, I've got the paper. That's the Panzer. That's going to annihilate that. And then it was just kind of a show of a PUBG update, should we say?
Yeah, for sure. BRDM, Panzerfaust, we saw a lot of blue chip recalls. We've even seen some C4 usage. It wasn't super successful, but we saw a little bit of it. And all of that stuff is just slowly coming into the game more and more. And yeah, there's one, right? There's a second place for a blue chip recall. There's a little busy bee just snooping around, making sure to get himself into late game and securing hives some much needed placement points, keeping them towards the top of the standings. So yeah, again, teams are feeling this out. This deny, it's rather classic, I would say, but it's also a little bit because of the new point format, right? Kills are so much more important. Every single kill point you're giving up is massive, and denying just makes a ton of sense there.
For those that don't know what we are waffling about, I say half price chicken, but Koa is right. It is literally kills are king at the moment. So if you do get a win, you find yourself with 5 placement points. In second place will be 3, then 2, then 1. So basically when we see the top 4 of the little logos at the top in the final circle, squish, that's when you're going to be getting those placement points. And that's why, again, we see so many people chasing around for some kills. Let's talk some kills. Let's talk about some points. I know we are going to have a quick look at the leaderboard in a bit, but I do want to highlight overall. So at the top of the leaderboard, we saw really consistency from teams like Win or Die. VP, super consistent as well. Ascend a little bit dropped off the radar. Started really strong. Had an interesting game and kind of clawed their way back. But then also, again, a consistent approach with FaZe. They were hyper-aggressive at times. And I think that's why we see these teams sitting in that sort of the first 5 slots. Now, we do need to take a top 8 forward, right? But I kind of looked back yesterday, Cole, and I was like, I think these 5 are secure. Like, they've got to have a really bad day. They've just got to continue that momentum we saw yesterday.
I hate to disagree, but I don't think it's that locked in yet. I think, yeah, it's weird. It's hard to say. It's really hard to estimate these point standings and everything now that the format's changed, right? We cut out half of the placement points. That changes everything quite a lot. So I would usually say 35 points, you're not even safe. But with so many less points just up for grabs, you might have a point here. I'd say the top 2 are locked in, and then we'll have to wait and see how the other teams do, because realistically, an Ascend, right? They started the day with a 12 kill win. They got 6 kills in the other 3 games. and they only got 2 more placement points. So not super hot for the rest of the evening. If they continue the form from the last 3 games, then they will drop out, and they will drop out really fast. So a lot of things are still very open. A lot of teams can still make a big step up the leaderboard. These are our top 8 that already qualified from last week. So they're not here tonight, but those are 8 teams that have already locked themselves in for the Masters coming up.
Yeah, and we always speak about sort of week 1 versus week 2, and week 1 we saw the big names go through. This time wasn't the case. That's because of our events obviously happening, etc. So week 2 we do have some of the big names that you saw on that leaderboard table before. So yeah, I'll be interested to see. Like, I'll be faithful. I think they're gonna be okay in my top 5. I think they're gonna play really well. We have to wait and see. And I think it's locked in. And as just a reminder, we are looking for those 8 slots at the bottom there. So we will take the top 8 from this final 4 games today, best of 8 when we finish off, and they will be joining for PUBG Masters. That'll be happening next week. There's a few shockers to me. We didn't really talk much about that bottom side of that leaderboard. Bushido, I definitely think we need to talk about them very quickly, because they're a team which normally sometimes start off pretty slow, but come back really impactful in the second day, and they've really got to throw things to the wire. Currently sitting on 9 points, so that's a lot they need to gain. A lot of kills in 4.
It is, and it is... it's almost characteristic for them at some point. I don't really know where to place them. I don't really know where to put Bushido, because we have talked about them so many times. You have been shocked by how badly they performed a lot of times. And I think more than not, they have come back from it. I think more often than not, they do end up at their top 8. They do end up making it on the second attempt, then playing well in the Super Cup. So I think they still have super solid chances. Quick reminder, right? We are in the second Player Cup of this circuit. We are in that bottom purple stage. Player Cups, best of 8. We're playing the rest of the best of 8 today. We're going to have some cash prizes, $1,000. But what really, really matters is that top 8 mark.
Yeah, that's key. So obviously, if those are not used to this format, we do it every couple of weeks, where we do week 1, week 2, and you can join. You and your friends can get involved. You can sign up to the scrims. It is open. Just get enough points on the board, and you'll find yourself in one of those qualified teams, joining the invited teams in as the Player Cups, that purple section, as Kara said. But then obviously, if you get a top 8 from here, you find yourself in a top 16, either at the PUBG Masters Cup or the PUBG Super Cup. So again, it's the best way that you guys can get involved in esports from the TPP circuit. You just got to sign up and get your way through the scrims. And if you do it consistently enough, you find yourself in the top. But let's get things going. As I said, it is week 2, day number 2. More importantly, it's match number 5 as the Observans work his way around. He's put himself under a lot of pressure with a little 360 spin, but I feel like he practiced that one. GG's. Let's get going. It's an east, all the way across towards the west, pretty much through the heart and the soul. That's Miramar.
I thought he was going to fly through the hole into the building and then out through a window or something. I thought he was going to cook some incredible stuff up there, but he went for the reasonably safe approach. I respected. We have a few teams on our hands jumping out early. We have a few teams getting things straight off the bat. And again, we'll have a bit of congestion around Los Leones. We saw this yesterday. Nothing really came from it. But VP do have quite a bit of neighbors here in their home city.
Yeah, we saw Skittles come to that south side, didn't we? So, and a couple of shots backwards and forwards didn't really connect. It sort of erupted a little bit later, but we'll have to wait and see. Early drops, Handler Hope, so working towards that south, then go straight down. Part and parcel because we don't have foot esports here, so they're taking the opportunity, like they did yesterday, to go straight down. And back to this end, like the way they rotated in for game on 1 was sort of key for me. And I know we spoke about this, and it was quite hard for them to, in a position that we normally see teams will fall, especially on the high ground, and get held out by the teams that were already in that field. But I do really like what they see. Oh, we had this yesterday. They literally rotated close. Now they're going to do it again. They're going to go past 1. Natural shots will come back through again. They're going for the pickup, but he's not got his boots on the ground, and the car's got to keep on moving.
That's not the start you would want. On the other side, I think it's Nix or whoever that is, if it's Beamy or Nix, taking a few shots, doing the damage as well. We did also have a bit of a Monte Nuevo hot drop, but that's a scary start for Skittles. They keep all 4 up here, but they're losing a combined 100 HP maybe, and they gotta make sure that they're not getting run up on here either, right? You see Sloy on that map. Danger close to Lucarox, a little too close for comfort. He's probably just holding the angle, hunkering down. But that's also because, where does he really go? If he steps out into the open for that buggy here, he might just get himself taken out. So, gotta be careful, and it's not a nice start. If you're looking at Ascend on the map there, their center, They can loot freely. They can move freely. They got everything they want to start this game. VP, Skittles, not really.
Yeah, no, they don't want to get bogged down in this fight, do they? That's what we're seeing. They're already starting to move. But Ascend, yeah, Impala already moving out towards their compound. So we've seen them stretch out now towards the west, taking some of, I could say, some prio spots, or definitely castle fortification. Brown will be there as well. So he's going to get looted. And we're really left in the zone. Everyone else has to sort of fight their way back in, especially from the sort of west side. Yeah, we saw that Monty kind of not quite a hot drop. Few teams that are split up as well. CS, they've done a little split down by Monty, so they've got their own one-man army. And Moss, dope. Again, a team sitting themselves quite low down on the table. They did start climbing up the very last game, so a good start here today. I think they're just going to try and loot and get moving.
Yeah, they're just trying to stay out of trouble. And there is Sloy, right? He was holding that angle. Just talking about it, just holding it down, waiting for the push from Lucarux, and Lucarux can't help himself. He wants to get that frag. He wants to lurk a little bit, maybe steal a car away. It's what he does. That guy is known for running out on compounds by himself and getting a free kill, and maybe getting a free compound, in the process. And Sloy knows that. Takes him out, sends him to the lobby. VP from a incredibly favorable position circle-wise, now on the back foot.
Yeah, it's difficult consolidate and then try and hold that sort of north side. They've got that high ground just down the north of Lost, so maybe just pray that the zone comes back. They restore elements of water out on that east, so we will have to lose it. Rest of these teams start to move their way in. Not as many sort of solo scouters, a bit more stacked up as they move together in convoy. 180 up, just moving now from the west. They're going to sort of hold out just by Cantera. As Hive, well, also doing that same rotation piece, but they are slightly split. Hive a bit of a slow start yesterday, but again performed well. And we saw in the clips the recall system being used to full effect. Even if you can't get any guns, you might find yourself at least finding some placement points.
Look at that. Timbo is already snuck in. I thought he was going to go to the rock. I thought he was going to go on Minas Rock, but instead he snuck his way into Minas Generales himself. Let's win at I go past. Tries to keep track on where they're going. And tries to set up his team for success here. We can see on the map stream, exclamation mark map. If you're interested, we can see Gustav coming in. They're going to have a pretty good idea what Winner Die is doing. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do much with it, though.
I just reliant on that zone coming back, right? Watching now for VP. They haven't claimed that high ground. Spoke about it a second ago. WG have worked their way in, so they're just going to now hold. VP started sneaking their way out, but in WG's position now, they're going to get a lot of information. They're going to be able to hear that car, and maybe they've arrived just in the nick of time to allow VP to escape out from the clutches that could be lost. But good position. Do like this area, especially the zone shifts back down towards that south. We have to wait and see. A couple of minutes left remains before we sort of see where this zone will go, and these teams already positioned up.
Solid EP, but I say solid. I don't think they're gonna lose players here. That's why I said solid. I'm not really a big fan. Skenin is, oh god, he's so wide in the open. He wanted to secure that car. Now he's gonna be careful. He even makes it into the shack. And is that low ground enough? It can't be. Yeah, there's the knock. Had to get into the shack, couldn't make it. But you look at this and you're saying, oh, Skenin, you can't be going down there. Him being alive in the compound 80% of the games is worth so much less than him getting the car, right? So if he gets that car, if he stays alive and he gets the car, that plays completely fine. But even just putting yourself in that position that Dope is in now, 3 guys in a compound surrounded by teams that know about them, not a single vehicle to work with, they need every zone to come to them to have a good game.
We saw the AE pickups actually fail game 1 number 1 and game number 2 with Slowstorm, didn't we? So they kind of took an early rotation. They sort of tried to take center-ish compounds or key areas that they fought, and both times they kind of got annihilated, and they had to kind of claw back with only 50% of the games left on day number 1. They have clawed up towards 10th, but Starting a strong enough position. They'll be looking to try and secure their spot. Maybe that's why we're not seeing them take an emergency pickup. They are driving from El Pozo at the moment as we speak. This seems hunkered down. Payne's he's just trying to puff out those feathers and make his position well known. He's taking a few more shots though. NWG, long distance. They're keeping the pressure on.
They have a pretty good idea about how this is set up and how weak Paints is here because they see him from both sides, right? So Senka Pao is the one kind of trying to bait while the rest of the team gets the shots in. ADR finds one onto Hive, who should be holding this down and should be getting that res in the Cantera area. You're playing low ground, you're not really doing much, you're not really able to dominate with teams just set up around you, but you should always be able to survive, you should always be able to hold, and they're doing just that.
A few more rotations. We might actually clash past with CS and that's south. Wait and see how the pathing sort of unfolds. Now, unfortunately, a full crash, and you spoke about this yesterday. When FaZe, you get a sense of blood in the water. It's a full push. So they have gained the information here. Now they're applying the pressure for win or die. Dedrox is down. Levante moves his way back into cover. James, with a VSS overwatching this. Just going to use the molly now just to try and slow down the push from FaZe. He hasn't got the reinforcements, and he hasn't got the friends close, so he might have to try and get out of here as quick as he can. Wrong side.
Wrong side. All of that is James, right? All of that is James going here extremely early, staying unknown the entire time, and as you would say, joysticking his team into the right spots, making sure that they have all the information they can have, and making sure that winner dies none the wiser. Not only giving FaZe that kill point that we talk so much about, also giving FaZe the entry, giving FaZe the exit out of Minas now if it goes anymore towards the east. So big moves, small moves, but big results.
It is. Sometimes these little bits are key. So Storm, as you mentioned before, they just take a different approach in. I think they learned their lessons yesterday. Only use if needed, not the main source of transportation. So they've danced pretty closely against Fairy Tail a few times, but Fairy Tail now ahead. You can see him in the distance there. Slow Storm, we'll just keep an eye on him. Just kind of waiting, making sure they're in the cars. We've got 17 seconds left before we see what phase number 2 exposes. And Fairy Tail obviously coming now back on the north side of phase. In a position again. They should be in part of rotation, or at least have the momentum to get shifting if they need to.
I love it. They have really good timing here. If the zone goes anywhere east, they're in a really good spot. Well,
Rip.
that's how PUBG goes for you. That's how PUBG goes for you. You can't say the same about CS now, though. They're coming in on that southwestern edge. They're coming in with speed, up the road. Gonna get themselves, excuse me, into that 5-stack if they want to, or at least close to it. And they should get a pretty good idea of what's free in the zone. Look at the map as well. Look at Senka Pao for NWG. He was split from his team the entire time. But now that puts him in a position where he gets basically the best spot in the circle for entirely free.
Yeah. If you would have asked him a couple of seconds ago, you wouldn't have thought he had to get ready to start rotating to the rest of his team. But this time, he will be the anchor. FaZe making the push now towards win or die. They are looking to try and take that E-rotate. It's going to be close. We said this again already. FaZe, though, going for the push. They got the shots. Huge amounts of damage. 1, 2, go. And they just about scrape. Nearly the second one, though. But 1 HP. They're going to be so picky where they're going to land.
If Gustav doesn't jump out of his car and die there, they probably get 2 or 3 kills. That was so little HP on win or die. If Gustav just doesn't fumble that one, that would have actually been massive for FaZe, but more than it was massive for FaZe, it would have been detrimental for win or die. They would have lost way more there. I think when they land now, I think they're 3, right?
Yeah.
But
2
two
now,
of those are
2.
super low.
Yeah. This is the thing.
2, they lost one early.
2, they lost one early, right?
Yeah. They would have been down to 1.
Yeah. And again, you argue, I think the only advantage they've got is the town. Lost has the ability that they could try and sneak their way in. And they're lucky enough, we know, because we can see the map feed, there's not many teams, especially on the south side. So they've taken a real risk there. So you can actually see now on the bottom of that map, he's actually gone really, really late. So he's just super double checking. Actually, do you know what? I don't want to land in a down just in case.
Yeah. I've continued to get bullied by SlamG. I think they've lost half their members now. Skittles have stayed here. Somehow put themselves between Corexi and the rest of VP, so that might pose some issues later on. Slowstorm taking their time on the west. Fairy Tail cruising on through. A lot of teams playing this slow. A lot of teams wrapping around the edges here, wisely so. You just touched on it. Lots of space around the edges. Especially for the teams who've already made the rotations. Not so much for a Fairy Tail now, but they might still be able to slot their way on in somewhere. And with 56 alive, there is a lot of weakened teams already, right? We have 16 teams for lobby in that sense, but already missing 8 of our players. There should be some teams that you find that you can punish, that you can work your way into.
It's the thing. It's all the edge play now. Everyone's taking the safer rotation path. But what I don't know is everyone's doing the same thing. Good knock. We'll go down. I can also get Sloyce. A bit of a round robin on this west side, though. Right, he's going to go back. Let's go over the top. Snowstorm getting involved. This could be a full send. Nearly hits him as he goes for a side swipe. I think he's lucky enough. I don't even know if he's picked up the player. He's continuing to drive forward. He's geared, really looking towards these smokes in the south.
He's gotten the info, though. He knows Conf is there. I think one of his teammates spotted that, right? Done the damage. So the game is up in that sense. They now get the flush onto April. Another flush comes through from range. Which means Fairy Tail already down to 2. And that should be a sweep in the compound. You know you're up against the duo. Gives you all the chances to make the sweep. FaZe lose good stuff. They make the breach onto Hive. I think that's just one left standing. That's just Presenti left from that 4-man Hive squad. And they should be able to clear this. Ascend has gone into an absolute mess by the looks of the kill feed. A little bit of friendly fire going on there. Oh, and Presenti gets away with it.
He actually sneaks away. I also loved that Space Marine, aka Fex, chested the grenade like it was nothing. Just palmed it away. Duke is not throwing nades as me. Presenti has ducked through the smoke. Also a building, but obviously the sound cues will still be there now. So you will swap over towards the shotgun. The sound cue don't always want to hear, but they're already pushing. And Fex says, no, Presenti, you're going to be down. Back towards the chaos that we saw with Ascend in the kill feed. One player. His Chris has been confirmed. He's also gone now. Nade's gone, done, dusted. NWG will clear up Ascend, and they will fall in 15th place.
So Chris knocks paints and Heaven flushes paints.
Why not?
Something's not quite right. Unfortunate pull up for Ascend. I think they tried to just risk it for a major spot in the circle and it doesn't go their way. Not the worst thing that could happen. VP still 2-1 split here. Still not grouped up with Corexi, but why is one of them in a car? I think he's okay. I think they're saving a car. Interesting.
Look at the map.
Yeah.
Look at Leosh. He's going back. Has James? Is he going back as well? Those two might clash at that recall center up by Minis because Leosh has gone, but also James. So that's bad timing for both of them because they're going to be stuck out in the zone. And they might be trying to outweigh. And I'd argue to say maybe FaZe has the better approach to it.
Observer was desperately trying to click into one of those. Just didn't work.
Stay here.
I think James is going to get the res, but Leosh knows.
Yeah.
I think that's why Leosh took the detour as well. The only question is, does James know? And I don't think he does. They could just pass each other here. I think James can just say, oh, goodbye, see you later.
And he might lie either.
And Leosh might just see that, get that first aid off, and then go for the res himself. So
yeah.
Unless he hits that bolt shot. Yeah, no. Stays on the cover. Goes for the res himself.
Good play.
Brings his team at least back up to 3. Not to 4.
Yeah, it's a good play. It's a good play. I don't think James saw the approach though from the bike, but
this is also where they lost one early game, right? In Minas.
Oh yeah,
so he could go for the second blue chip.
Yeah, and go for double and then straight in. Is it worth the risk? It's phase 4. This is going to chunk. I don't know if he can get it now. I think James timed it well. He's got to try and get himself back to zone, right? Yeah. I don't think he can do it now.
I think he's waited too long as well. He didn't send it with a bike. He has a lot of respect apparently for Minas, right? He's not going aggressively for the revive. So I'm not sure what's going on with Leosh. We have a full breach from Slowstorm and they get the entry here, Mark.
They do get the entry. See what they can do. Brief will come through. Sloy trying to hold there with the barrel. the angles are being fully exposed as they use the midline to perfection, but this is time bomb ticking. Other teams got to come this way. The zone shift back. Nate comes through. Sloyd does dodge it as he used the car and the tree to block the line of sight. Now more nades will go and then wait for the explosion as he does drive forward, but he's already cooked most of the ammo. And he gets the repeat. Great play from them.
That's a clean sweep. That's big for Slowstorm. Interestingly enough, we had them yesterday, right? We had Slowstorm, and I talked to the observers and said, can we maybe just switch the color up on Slowstorm or Krint, because they keep fighting each other every circle and they have the same, just almost the same blue. And now in the first game of the day, they're just squaring off again. Like nothing has changed. First time we see Slowstorm so convincingly winning a fight though.
Yeah, that was clean. Very, very clean. In the kill feed, we did see our wonderful friends from Win or Die actually catch James as Leosh was rotating his way back. Great nade comes in though from NWG. Slam, unfortunately, in a bad position as well. Again, part and parcel with the zone shifting towards the west. That's going to allow these guys now to sort of move a little bit closer. Any more nades will cook towards Slam G. The smokes are starting to disappear. They have to go for a re-smoke as quickly as they can.
That's one of those situations, the longer you hold out, the better your chances of survival get. The more util gets expanded from NWG is removed from their arsenal, the more doable this becomes. Topic has one more nade. I'm not sure what the rest of the squad is holding. That's a blue zone. That's actually quite big. If he lands a good blue zone here, that could be absolute disaster. The bounce is not bad. Should push him away from the cars. Problem is, though, Namogora knows. Namogora knows he has to disengage. If he timed those the other way around, maybe the nade could have finished the job.
And those blue zones are pretty bouncy as well. Plus the parting of ways from the cars. Let's store around. He's actually got closer. He's gone for the recall system that is closer towards the zone. So he didn't go for the -1, but he's going for it at the moment. So keep an eye on that. We see that team go back to elements of strength. And I think there'll be a question whether he has the other chip as well. And ADR though go for the peak phase, work their way in. Teams did go down. Fix now falls as 100 ADR trying to play out the dip in the north.
Gustav, last one standing. He's the one recalled. He's the one that James gave his life for. Let's see what he can do. Opium set kit. Using that jammer pack. But I think he's going to get caught by Gustav here. There's the damage coming in. That's enough damage for him to fall to play zone. But it's not a kill point for Gustav if he doesn't fully commit for it. So it's a bit awkward. He's got to try and run it down for the point here. And that's going to cost him his life, most likely. There it is. Ooh. Picked up. And Lutik, oh my god, he gets the res as well. So tragedy for Gustav here.
Yeah, it's all about that point system. Trying to get as many kills as you can. There's though, still in the conversation at the moment. CS or CS22, depending on which leaderboard you look at. I've just been holding out the outside edge. They obviously came in quite late from that west and came in pretty clean, and no one else really can work in against him. Last in, so now find himself with a really strong 2-2 split. 9 teams remain, 27 players store in on round number 5 here. Bushido to get in the cars. They'll be looking to try and plan where they want to play. The question is go for the res where you can. A bit of time to do it, but not going to have time as they're going for the flush.
They lost an air cop earlier. Take a bit of a disconnection issue for Bushido. Actually super rough because they got themselves in a really playable spot now. Leos gets caught by ADR. Finally, ADR with a good game. We haven't really seen them show up this tournament yet. But they clean up Leos here. They bring down Win or Die to just that one player in the south. They stay alive on their edge. Skittles versus Dope. Gonna be a bit of an awkward fight with Hello My Bad lurking behind with teams in front of them waiting to catch. So whoever wins this fight, they gotta win it fast because getting into zone after is gonna be hard.
Yep. It's gonna be a hard shift. Let's see the recall activated and start working their way in. Here comes the drop over the top. We've got to figure out where he goes. He sort of tie up with Hello My Bad and work in, but they're going to be causing an issue. He's on the move now without Dope. A few nades. We hear the commotion around as the nades are starting to come back. Only 2 remain. Skittles on the hold as well. A team looking to also climb the leaderboard. Aggressive start for them, but not the best ending they would have wanted, but they did salvage quite a lot of points. So we'll wait and see. Bushido, always a team that never disappoints me, I'll be honest with you, especially on day number 2 antics. But now 3 kills. trying to get themselves into this compound pretty clean, and I think Slow Storm might be looking to try and give it up if he can. I don't think he can from now.
He has to. He has to. And he wants to. He might not go. He might now go for the middle shack, if he even makes it there, where Levante is sitting inside without a single gun, Mark. If he ever makes it there, where's Stalzy going?
Where's he going? I'm just going to...
He just turned the motor off?
Maybe. Maybe run out of
What?
gas.
Maybe he ran out of gas? Yeah, that might have been the thing. That was a bit odd. SlamG blow up the rest of Skittles, and they stay alive on their side. We said earlier they have to hunker down. The longer they survive, the better their position gets, and they managed to out-survive everyone around them. Pick up 7 frags already. Now, hoping to bring the pain into CS, who crazily enough are still holding that 2-2 split, Mark.
Still, yeah, again, they've been uncontested. They've just held, and no one's really also in this mid to late game really pushed. Sort of just thrown the anchor out and refuse to be evicted. And my bad is there. He has a destination you can try and get to. Maybe have the option to share out a weapon. But there's a few teams and a lot of open grounds. Unfortunately for him, he's now out of meds. So 5 bandages left. You really got to be grateful if he comes across kind of a dead box on the floor, gets a bit of loot. Especially with this cross-fighting between sort of CSCS and SlamG, he's just going to surely fall into the lines of the crosshairs.
I think he's going to destroy SlamG here. Oh, he peeked a little bit too early. His zone was already moving, I guess. That makes sense. This is, by the way, how my bad not healing into placement points here is maybe my favorite thing of this new points format that we're using here, right?
Yeah.
Top 5, that would have been 3 placement points. That's a third of a win, right?
Yeah.
That's a good amount of placement points that he literally just got by sitting in the blue in first aiding. So him not getting a single placement point here, yes, Levante's still alive, but he would have gotten 0. Might be my favorite thing. My favorite sort of unexpected outcome of this new point.
Love it. You're always on the maths, always in the calculations. There is a silver lining with every update, and that's the silver lining Coa's going to go for now. And the points update, we are looking for a top 4. One more team needs to now fall before we activate the additional points for placement. And that's why there's a lot of chaos, though. So backs and forwards, lots of knocks, but steals happening. ADR having a better game. We spoke about this. They're on 4 points at the moment. They top plate yesterday after 4 games with 5 points. So one more team falls. That puts them on the equal level that they achieved yesterday. Gives them an opportunity to continue to climb, but they will need to dig in deep every single game. And we've only got 4 games remaining, so they need some big kills.
They do. I'm astonished how Levante made it to where he is from the shack. I don't know if he found a mountain bike in the shack or what the hell happened. How did he get here? I don't know. That's a crazy run to make. And it's an amazing run to make as well, because he had ADR on the north who always knew he was a solo. So him leaving that position, getting somewhere where they don't know about him, getting somewhere where he can maybe shoot a team in the side, maybe get a kill, maybe get a placement. Yeah. Massive stuff.
Massive stuff. SlamG, 8 kills. I'll play now. 11 players still remain. The flash will come over the top. CS now collapsing their split slightly. I've received a knock. I think for me, 100ADR really left to their own devices. No one else is on that north, so they've got a ridge. The ridge line's not out either. As I mentioned, actually win or die leaving that position. It's giving them, again, more movement. Mogul, well, tries to do a peek. The FAMAS doesn't quite hit those shots.
He's getting pinned down by so many players as well. If he just finds one knock here, he's likely getting the flush, or at least he's likely killing that player. Might not get the point himself, but will likely lead to disaster for CS. Now, they're getting up close. Oh. He finds one on range. Is he ready for the close range angle? He dips into the smoke just in time to hear these flashes come over. And he should have a good chance here. Mossbot is getting peppered from behind. Magorda sees the knock on the kill feed. This is his time to strike. He wants it so bad, but he's still got the util mark. He doesn't have to force this. If he gets a blue zone down there, if he gets a molly down there, his work is done.
Love that. In reading the kill feed, instant reaction from him. He went for the peek. Me, especially, I was about to say you or me, but me especially, I would have over-peeked that one and got tucked in by 100 ADR or Bushido, who don't really need to make the move at the moment. They're kind of agreeing just to stay fair, not really popping shots at each other. They're both sort of bullying this way. Never smoke will go, never blue zone will bloom. yes, well, I do get the res, but yeah, GG. There we go. We're now in the placement points, so 100 ADR will say goodbye to Slam G. The additional kills, though, were good enough for them to tab out. It's 3 versus 2 versus 2 versus 1, and the solo sitting on the crate.
Completely unknown to, I think, everybody in the server right now is Levante. He's got a Lynx as well. Now CS make the desperate send. They should get blown up on this shack here. Metebay finds Kim.
Oh, great.
The Lynx has rang out. That's Celtic down to Levante. Levante can go for a second one. He's blowing up that car. When that car flies, he's going to try and see if he can spot the player behind just for the flush. Might now have to blast that folder shield, but he wants the flush so bad. And
3 shots, though.
the Lynx does a ton of damage, but it doesn't get him the folded shield. I would probably just keep shooting that anyways, because that's really the best way to get yourself 2 points. But Levante doesn't want to commit for it and gets absolutely nothing for his trouble.
Tabs out for Zone. Good play. He's found himself in the placement points. You mentioned before, so it's a 3 versus 2. They do get the res back on, but you don't have a little mound that they can play in the open field, the open terrain, but they have got no zone. So the knock and the movement is going to be hard. There's no smokes on Metabay. If Celtic's got any, no, he's got no smokes either. So this is all about aggressive. They've got to get a knock. They get a knock or they're getting a flush. I can't see Bushido getting out this.
No chance. No chance. They need 2 knocks to make the move. Even a single player would probably be able to hold them down from moving across this field, right? You see where they are on the map. They don't have far to go, but they have absolutely nowhere to go. They have nothing in front of them that's workable. Now, Lutik was getting a little aggressive for my taste, especially for a man with no helmet and no bullets. He slowed it right back down. He got himself into the ridge that he likes to play. You can see the confidence is there. But they all have no bullets.
What to say, yeah.
And if Hickses doesn't connect here, all that has to happen is Hickses has to whiff, because Lutik doesn't even have a DMR here, Mark. It's not fully over.
No. Hickses doesn't miss, though. Use the smoke to perfection, though, so you could use the peak on the ridge. Sees the player line still shot now. It's 2 versus 1. Scrap that. It's 1 versus 1. And what we said was an impossible task.
No DMR.
Bushido have
no
the ammo. They have the ability to move forward, and 100 ADR don't have the ability to peek as he continues to pepper the ridgeline.
He just has to hit 1 bullet. There's no helmet there. This is entirely winnable. I'd say this is maybe even advantageous.
No! It's
for Metabay.
No! Oh, that was close.
He doesn't trust himself.
But I suppose he didn't know. He didn't know the spray was coming through, right? 100 ADR held the ridge. They nearly clicked dry on all of the ammo. The DMRs, the SRs, they were gone. It was down to the spray at the end. But yeah, no helmet. That's unfortunate for Bushido. They desperately needed a win, but so did 100 ADR.
And that was seriously winnable. Oh, yeah. Highlights, and we're back. that was seriously winnable. I think he sees that there's no helmet. That what's really keeping him down there is that we're playing TPP, right? So it's a little bit easier for the player in cover to unpeak until you start running and then peek you again when you are. Yeah. Sure, that's a massive advantage, and sure, the circle is a massive advantage, but he's shooting against a red dot barrel, and the guy has no helmet. So if he just hits that 1 single headshot, the game's over. I don't want to be too negative about ADR here. I'm happy to see them back in a good spot. I'm happy to see them farming, but they almost threw that one away.
Yeah, even down to sort of ammo discipline, right? Though no one really pushed. They cleared the area. Everyone was sort of fighting, coming out of lost, coming out of the edges. And 100 ADR had so much freedom. Now, obviously, the downside to that, with no one really pushing their way, they're not going to be able to sort of reload. But there was no sort of discipline when it came down to sort of ammo control. So good game. Both teams desperately needed it. Crazy-ish style zone, but not a bad way to start things off.
Yeah. And Bushido with 9 and ADR with 5 before this game, right? They were very far down at the bottom. ADR literally the last place team are going to bombard themselves up the standings now. We're going to have a look at that leaderboard that I just hinted about in a bit. But first, we're going to go to a very short break, and we'll be right back with game number 2.
Every survivor lives for that electrifying moment. One heart-pounding match. One unforgettable thrill. But survival isn't just about one match. It's about how far you'll go, how high you'll climb. Now is the time to discover something bigger about yourself. To turn fleeting moments into a lasting mark. No longer just a moment. It's your legacy.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players' Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
Well. Miramar's done and dusted for week number 2. It didn't disappoint. The teams that needed the points, they were the ones that were climbing their way up that leaderboard curve. Will it make a big change? Well, they've still got 3 more maps, but they've got to keep that pedal to the metal. Not like the gas that ran out right in the middle of that zone, but it was a good game. And I think they feel like most of the teams that needed the points, they were the ones that kind of bagged them.
For sure. ADR was last. Bushido, I think, was 14th or something like that. They're now both firmly in contention. And this is what I meant, right? If one game happens like this, shakes up the leaderboard quite a lot, and suddenly, yes, you were looking pretty good on 25, 28 points. Now the cutoff is 20. It's starting to get serious. I think still 38, probably fine for win or die, but they're not that far ahead either. Nobody's really running away with things, Mark.
I was trying to secure the slots for everyone. You went and jinxed it, and Ascender falling down the table. Now we're going to get it all in chat. But no, they're not secure at the top. So a good couple of games. Slam G has proven that. They have had a good game despite going out. The kills really mattered for them. That does skyrocket them up towards 3rd place. Now, is there a breakaway? Not quite. One game. We always say this one game can change it. I need to record that because generally with this leaderboard and with the level of players that we've got in here, anyone could really take away a win. Now, we know that our wonderful world of Tago is pretty chaotic. But this was kind of the first map I saw yesterday where we saw a more of an active approach for people hunting kills. Do you kind of expect the same thing to happen again? Surely we're going to have some teams trying to break away from the pack.
I think it depends on the zone we get. I think some of these open zones, they have a lot of power positions with a lot of sidelines. Some of them are more sort of defensive, right? When you have the town in, when you have priority spots that are easily shared, all that kind of stuff has a massive impact on how many teams have to get aggressive, right? And sometimes 1 or 2 teams have to get aggressive. Everybody else in the lobby sees it in the kill feed. They fly in themselves. Then you see teams meeting up at the respawn points, right? More and more carnage ensues. Then the game kind of just takes over and it all spirals from there. But other games, they tend to get the more tamer side of things. That being said, I haven't really had that on Tago. We've literally had one tame Miramar in this tournament. Tago and Rondo, they have been crazy. So we'll see what the teams have for us.
I do really like actually on that last map though, we did see sort of that phase and win or die push towards that recall system. Yes, obviously they picked up and waited for teams to kind of go away, and it didn't really have an impact in the late game because we saw the player come back, they had to lay low, got to the shack, plays down. Hello, I'm bad, unfortunately couldn't get themselves in. So I do like that. I like that teams are actively now looking to try and get bodies back up, especially when it comes down to late game. Maybe not for the placement points, but at least for some kills. So
Yeah.
I expect more of that to sort of unfold.
It was really interesting as well because James had the beat on Leos on that revive, but Leos had the info, right? So he waited. I think he got himself another blue chip, and then he was like, okay, if I just catch Jimbo here, I kill him, I can loot his meds, and I can go for that other respawn point. The only advantage he had was the information about James, and James was faster, closer to the zone, had more teammates close by. Didn't matter. All that mattered was the information. Leos used it to great effect, gets Levante back into the game. And, well, that's all that they needed, right? That was a placement. And if Levante has any sort of second gun there, or there's no folded shield for Bushido, then he gets himself 3 instead of 1 point there. So, massive stuff. And it's nice to see that when you have the information, you use it right. That's almost always just the most valuable thing in PUBG.
Let's talk about that information though, because CSCS or CS22, they gained a lot of information. It's mainly because they came in sort of late. They were one of the last teams that came in that sort of West Side Korea. They played their way towards town, lost the onus, and then sort of held out. But then they held a 2-2 split. Now that can be kind of powerful from an information game point as well, but it also can be kind of negative, especially if a team wants to crash that compound. But in this case, CSCS, they actually held out for quite some amount of time, and they gained so much intel around them. Yes, they couldn't get themselves to the very, very late game, but they did find themselves in a position that actually, do you know what? They denied entry, and they forced a lot more teams to go around them.
They played a really good game out of there. I was really surprised to see how long they were able to hold that. And
yeah,
I think it was partly due to the teams around them not being super strong. I think a lot of teams that came in were already weakened, but a lot of teams came in weakened from them, right? So well done by them, keeping things together for a very long time, even with Mogora on top there, just letting the util rain down, peeking over with a FAMAS 3 gear. That's scary stuff. That's not easy to deal with, and they maneuvered that super, super well. So glad to see that from them. Not something we've seen from them yesterday. They've been a bit lackluster, but this was a really good game from them, in my opinion.
Yeah, and you mentioned Mogora. I want to talk about SlamG because they were aggressive. They're definitely a team that are hunting kills. We're going to transition to the crazy maps now, and we expect it to be a bit more. They couldn't quite get into the swing of it, but a team that looks really dangerous, especially from, as I call them, the household names. They're becoming this kind of set piece now where they're gelling together more. We know they've played quite a bit anyway, but now it just seems to be sort of working in effect. A point system is like this. I think it will play to teams like SlamG, like the phases that want to go aggressive, that want to get kills. And I expect to see these sort of teams kind of like control the leaderboards and start to sort of skyrocket a little bit.
Absolutely. This does not play to the classic, the OG EMEA teams. Sending it to the middle, knowing every single dip, having a setup for every single dip, knowing, okay, we put one car here, we put a folded shield if we have it there. If we don't have a folded shield, we have to play it this way. These kind of set plays to make sure you get into placements a lot, and then hopefully nobody gets to destroy you before you play the game. They're not going to really work nearly as much here. They're not going to work nearly as much because you'll end up with a lot of 5th places, 6th places, 2-kill 4th places, whatever it is. It's just not going to matter. When a FaZe clan gets 7 kills, they've already passed you, even if they don't even make it into phase 3, right? So it would change things up massively for teams that love to play for position. And I would say if you asked me about a team that's aggressive right now, I would always say SlamG. Because VP and FaZe, they do it here. They don't do it in the top lobbies. SlamG does it wherever they go. They're giga aggressive. They love playing that way.
Yeah. We do see that quite a bit from them. Let's see what they can do, as it is our second match, or 4 a day. Best of 8 we're going to end up, but it's time to go as we fly through Buksang with a north down towards the south, lined up perfectly for the observer. Now he will take to the skies.
That was a risky one. That was far away from the plane.
That was good though. I'll give him that. That's big props.
No,
I like that.
He pulled it off. Not bad, not bad. I gave him some tips in the break, so all credit to me, of course. But
I feel like we've got to give you a scorecard so you can put like, that was 8 out of 10. Koa has approved this flight pump.
It's good. Gives us something to yap about while the plane's flying. It's great. I love it. Gotta give a shout out, by the way. Solo observing is so hard. Solo observing TPP is even harder. The fights are a little bit more unpredictable, a little bit more dynamic. And I think we always have great observers here, actually doing a really good job. So that's lovely to see. And there's a lot of people behind the scenes working on this stuff that you don't get to see. You get to see our stupid faces all the time. You get to listen to us yap about whatever we don't want to talk about. But there's a lot of people behind the scenes making sure that things look good and things run smoothly.
Yeah, we just get presented. We just yap about what we see. We do nothing, guys. We just sit and talk. A little bit of a hot drop, potentially. Shido might be backing away from that one, though. As we're about to last up the play. Trying to claim that southern pitch. But it is going to go that way. Zone does pop, and it is down towards the south. A little bit of unplayable remains on the east, but there's a good chunk of water. So also will be a factor on that south side. And we already see FaZe making a rotation to more of a centralized area.
FaZe got caught off guard here, Mark. FaZe just got hot dropped the books on sign. They weren't ready for it. They didn't expect it. They didn't think Hands of Hope would just randomly be in their face. And now they have to ditch. They have to get out of there. Vard's already going to a compound. That's actually might be mildly contested. Levante could be there soon. And the rest of FaZe are all very, very split apart. So not expecting this. And we'll see how it pays out. I'm seeing CS, though, on the other side of the map. Just east of Terminal. I'm seeing them walk up into a compound and trying to get a bit creative themselves.
Yeah, I don't know if they got the information. I think they would. They definitely have if they're doing this. Reads. Full army move. I'm on workout mode. Goes for a full send. Crashing the compound. MP5 going to be there. NWG trying to back out the tire, though. That's going to be a unfortunate for them. But he keeps the car straight for now. More comes through. He's down to one shot, but you think he gets himself over the ridgeline just in time.
Just in time. Just the nick of things. Barely gets out of dodge. That being said, we see the map, right? Again, exclamation mark map if you want to have a bit more of an overview, if you want to know more what's going on. There's more CS players here in the north with Mossboard who gets the information now that enables his team to maybe get more aggressive. Morphling already on the support, though. Does a good bit of damage to the car. This is a messy situation now, but if he just hits 2 bullets here with a mini, he could do a whole lot of damage.
There's one. Ooh.
There's one. Doesn't get the second.
This is, again, we talk about the points we're talking about. We say with the type of Slam G style. You have to be aggressive here. These teams want to climb the leaderboards. We're only taking the top 8, remember. So, looking to try and take the fights where they can. CS had a bad day yesterday. Looking to claw things back. We spoke about them on the break. See, had a good control. Unable to control that fight, though. WG had the reinforcements just in the nick of time. And they get a little bit of a reset. As FaZe reset their position, the Hands of Hope are waiting with open hands.
Ooh, this is dodgy. That's a play on the high ground. That's a problem. If you don't take him out immediately, you gotta go. You gotta leave. Gustav, not in a good spot right now. They might think that nobody's in the compound, though, Mark. They might think, okay, that's the guy scouting the compound, so the compound itself should be free. They could not be more wrong. I think Vard maybe has a chance to see this from a distance. If he does, I would hope FaZe falls away, but it is FaZe Clan, and they're not a team that likes to retreat.
No. It's that blood in the water, though, isn't it? They get the opportunity to go get some kills. Fix. They're jumping into the car. They hear the car reinforcements. Now they will make the retreat, though. They hear the cars, they hear the reinforcements, and will take the opportunity just to get away again in the nick of time, but that paint takes a few nicks from the 5.56 that rains out.
Oh, that's good damage coming back, though. Hello. Sit down.
Round.
No,
Fix is like, turn me round. Turn me round.
No. He just says, sit down. I'm out. Problem for FaZe, though, Mark. We see 3 of them here. Look where James is. He's completely spread off. Hold that thought. Full breach. Fairy Tale. It ain't looking good.
Initial knock does come through from Zloy. Conf is down. Nate now can be cooked. Positions himself a little bit higher up, looking for the opportunity. But he goes for the window, not for the roof. I mean, they don't know exactly where he is. They're going to deny the information with the smoke launcher. Grenade comes back. Oh, that nearly caught him. But they full charge the compound. And Fairy Tale, the reinforcements are coming. But is it a little too late?
It's a little too late, for sure. BMW gets his first frag of the day. Bayerische Motorenwerke, that is. Interesting PUBG name. Interesting nickname. Not the weirdest one I've seen. But they roll over that fight pretty well. Ascend, on the other hand, are waiting for this. There's 2 Ascend players here. They might shoot. They shoot the first car. They do a bit of damage. Now they have to be careful. The drive-bys could be coming in, but Vanos is so low. He just wants to get out of dodge. He's immediately caught. And if there's no immediate knock coming back, then Ascend should just dominate here.
All about the turn. Now here's the car on the other side. So looking for the isolation. No, get some good shots. Go will go down. He can pick up additional as well. He's going to be caught as well, but the reinforcements from Payne. He knew he had to keep the pressure on. He did. It's down to Sloy. He comes over the top. He gets the initial knock as well. He swaps over, gets a second though for his efforts. Now he puts himself to a 1 versus 1. Maybe trying to look to get into the confirmation where he can, as Payne's is trying to stick the res.
Wants to stick the res, wants to make it a 1v2. Question is, what does Sloy Jacket do here? Does he get the flushes? Does he go for a res? He doesn't know just yet what he wants, and that might have cost him right there. Sending it to the Rock on Hoppycock could have been a thing. Now Paint is going to go for one of the flushes, got to go for an angle, and it's going to make this even more tricky. Flushes not as important as they used to be with the recalls, right? Winning the fight is more important.
Yeah.
But Ascend wants to make sure that they play this 2v1, and I'm sure Chris has a lot of things to say in the chat right now, or in the voice chat, telling the boys how to play this, making sure that they're not getting 1v1'd here. Yeah,
they're just trying to keep the ankles, and it is about winning out. Good shots. The Bolty comes from the tree. We'll put him down. But you're right, you don't have to overextend. You have to get instant flushes, do you? Time was on the sides. Sloy could have held out, forcing the hand of Ascend to sort of make their step towards him, but unfortunately he stepped out from the tree and he got put down. 15 teams now remain, 55 players. As Hive are the last teams to rotate, as they're very much on that west side.
So many teams fighting on these edges, Mark. So many teams just going for the kills. Going for spots in the middle, spots on the edge. Full-on aggression as the Tagos have gone down. Win or die again. Spread across the whole map. I'll mention the map stream one last time for this stream. You should be watching it if you want to learn how the big boys are playing. Win or die once again spread across the map, getting revives in. Or getting ready for revives, I'm not sure. Maybe Halamai is just camping the revive. I'm not sure what the plan is, but his team is playing possibly the best compound is 3. And he's just sitting around in the blue next to a revive station. So I'm not sure what's going on, but they're cooking something.
I'm about to say, must have an e-rotate, right? Yeah, there he goes. Not bad. Going to rotate his way in. I think that's the best form of transport for where he is. And maybe argue to say that it's going to hit after as he works his way in as well. NWG Crew's just on by. CSS with a slight split as well. These two teams seem to be continuing to clash, or at least be neighbours for now. Do you fear for this sort of zone? As that south shift coming back towards the water could be key.
Uh-oh.
Slam G. Well, they get an opening knock here on Ascend, and see all these players instantly getting in their car. They'll be looking to apply pressure again.
They heard these knocks as well in the kill feed. They know that this is a 2-man, and I think Ascend probably hasn't gotten the reses off, right? They were going for a revive station, or they wanted to at least. Now they get caught in transition. They gotta get the hell out of there. They gotta get to safety. Make sure that they don't get fought by a big team. Is that car? Are they not getting through there? Did they get stuck, or? Oh, they have to stick the res because they have no more time. Okay, they gotta get the res off. They gotta get the hell into town to try and get that res on the other 2 players. The blue chip res. You think they've done it?
Yeah, Paint is actually up in the north, so he's now working
Paint is there, but he's the only one.
Yeah, so I think Paint went for that. You can see it flashing. Yeah, it's flashing. That you can see in Kang. You can see just under the helicopter now. It's flashing away. So I think Paint took the chip and then he went for the res, but the other 2 got caught. So, but you're right. The guys had to stop that car.
I'm sleeping. You're absolutely right. 100%.
I didn't see him. He was camouflaged in. Paige was hiding underneath the flight path. It wasn't until he started moving I was like, oh, actually, they might already have the res.
Yeah, they do. They do. That's big. Okay. I was getting confused. As I am. Confused old man. That's why we're not playing in these lobbies. But Ascend should get their 4th player back on. And keeping Chris alive there is massive as well. And one thing we should, I think, talk about maybe even more is, yes, we have blue chip revives, but it's not nearly the same value as rezzing a teammate, right? Like getting that blue chip, having to go to a station, having to wait, the teammate comes back with no loot. You're still losing out on a lot of resources there, a lot of time. So yeah, keeping Chris alive there is absolutely massive.
It is. Get those numbers up. Obviously, it's still ready. Phase number 2 as well, so he's able to sort of lurk out in the blue. For now, anyway, as the teams will sort of rotate their way in. See, the zone has given up a lot of that water on that south side. So most of the teams still remain in. A couple just kind of reposition. We see Hive, as you see on that little mini-map now, they're driving their way around. There's a bit of fall in the side. Oh, the glider. He looks up at 180 ADR, instantly there, ready to strike.
He's been here for so long. He's been so alone for so long. I'm not sure if he got stuck here without wanting to, or if this was his plan all along. I'm not sure what happened to James in the early game. But it's so hard to make that work. It's so hard to be so far from the rest of your squad in between multiple teams and live. Glider doesn't help, right? Pulls a lot of attention away, but it wasn't even high if that was the problem. And we are down to 54 players here, Mark. This is not super high numbers for a phase 2.
No, again, talks that sort of fighting for the points, right? Trying to secure your spot where you can. More intrigued as well as we see these development, the recall system code. We see, like, obviously phase maybe it's a bad example, but they're in a centralized compound at the moment. If the zone shifts away from, do they try and rotate around, pick up the blue chip and then come back? There's some huge shots to come through. Not just, I know the glider's going down, but 180 AR was literally pinpoint perfect now. The Hive has to get down as quick as he can.
It's a lot of damage. Stays alive though for now. One of the new gas stations is actually going to save Rocks in this one. And they're still in a good spot here, Hive. Playing around the edge. You've got a lot of lines, possible lines to play into the late game. Without Dope, they've got a bit of a setup as well. They find the first one onto Arctics. They find the second one onto Mogore as well. It's not looking good for SlamG. They got to pull this one back around and fast.
They did. They are one. Himself in the compound. Here's the nade coming back. Bounces through, close to the door. Now he goes towards the outside. That TPP mode, so he's going to try and use the angles where he can. He's going to wait for the rest of the guys now just to tighten up. They have lost one. They are hold him. He has now seen the player as he pops his head over the wall, and here come the shots. I was about to say, when does win or die get involved? Well, it's now. Hell, am I bad? He gets the first knock.
Tragedy for SlamG. So it's just in the hands of Boostic, and he can't pull it off. Without Dope, with another solid pickup. Another team at the bottom of the scoreboard that really needs it. Circle has gone far away as well, so they need these points more than anybody else right now. We have a northwest shift. We have a few EPs coming across the zone already. We have red zones coming on in. And suddenly, even though we have 54 players, Mark, it doesn't feel like there's enough space for them anymore.
No. Good position as well from the center. Back to a 4 now. They're going to have the opportunity to rotate around. Yes, we can see, so we know it's going to be clear, but towards that Bucksang area, they'll be looking at this one, especially if they had shots from the CSCS team. They'll be okay, but definitely on the south side, the edge play we're going to see, Will or Die, having to drive their way forward. They take a bit of the compound here with Hands of Hope away. We saw them push phase out earlier. Now they're going to take a head-to-head battle, but with Will or Die going slightly earlier, teams that sit on the outside, Bushido, VP, they might just want to get involved in a third party, and there's no rush to do so.
No rush. Easily shared compound as well. Ascend is in trouble, pulling in into an absolute setup. CSCS. They were waiting for this to happen. Keats does a good bit of damage towards Pains. Pains stays alive for a good bit though. Makes this awkward, makes this harder than it should be. The nade comes over the top. It's pretty vertical. It forces him to the push. But so much HP advantage should be enough. Heaven, last one standing. He's got the SMG. He's gotten himself one. Gets the run over as well. But it's not enough for Ascent. Another rather quiet game, but at least they got themselves the early few kills, right?
Yeah, it's aggressive. They didn't know. Obviously, CSS didn't want taking shots at them, so they just picked a rotation path in. I suppose they looked at Bucksang, going, might be a team there. Maybe backfield sort of phase position, because we know they like to rotate away. Right, Dope. Around the outside of here, still using the roads. Unfortunately, hitting the digger. but they're going to be hearing a lot of the shots. So there's a third party. He's going to try and continue to sort of push past this one. Maybe go for a bit of a reset, get the meds on because they are heading out of zone. Back to that third party action spoke about before. VP, well, they're the ones to come crashing in on the other side. And Hands of Hope finding themselves in a very difficult position now.
And now their attention is split as well, so they haven't dealt with Win or Die, but they've also put themselves in the open hands of Win or Die. That's crazy to me. They've walked into both sides of the compound. Now they just have so much to deal with. One nade from the side from Beanie should do the trick onto Hero. Yep, that's it. VP cleaned that up, and just like that, Hands of Hope, 13th place. Couldn't hold the compound. FaZe on the other side, they're going for what they like. They're going for what they do best. It's a fight around the edge. It's aggression. Gustav needs to hit this so he can focus on the players in front of him.
Yep, going to go for the grab and go as well. Gustav, those shots, he needs to put a med on as quick as he can. Based on before, he's about to hit. Here comes the util dump from him. Does get the med back. He does disengage. So using the sign and denying the line of sight from the players. Gets the opportunity now to reposition. If he catch him moving up to that tree, another nade comes in. It's going to be the blue zone that will claim him. Gustav will fall.
That's a big nade. That's good damage done. That could have been a problem for NWG. Now Dope is here. All the red teams have gone for the eastern side. Dope wants a part of this. They want a piece of this. FaZe will get the reset for now. They'll get 2 players back on their feet. They'll get to live another day. But they want this fight as well. I think everybody that's involved here, Mark, they're happy for every single kill point they can get.
Yeah, and in the heart of the zone, well, we've got Win or Die heading up against VP. 2 are down. Here comes the push. Lars will jump the walls. He works his way around. There we get information. There is one. So information now going to be denied. It seems... Oh, you understand there's a player. As Levante well works around on the north side. If you know he's there, now they can go for the repeat. The charge comes forward. The MP5 in hand. We know it's going to pack a punch. He exposes him though. He steps out. And the SMG shows us why it keeps showing itself in the kills.
Trey comes out though. Beamy still doing the work. Still putting in the effort. Leo's just trying to dance. Can't dance too much. Can't get too busy with focusing on the camera. And Beamy just keeps swinging everything. He has no idea though. Levante just keeps us calm. Waits till almost his entire team is eliminated and then swoops in. Says, yeah, I'm picking up that one. Good bunch of kills. But VP Fall and Win or Die are running away with things.
The argument, he's got those confirmations. Win or Die are not going to leave this compound now to go get the recall, are they? If they push heavy south towards the zone with phase 4, you've got to have the meds, possible, 100%. We saw Win or Die do that. But they're in the heart of the zone. Like, other teams already starting to have a little on-look towards this as CSCS crashing the same way that Win or Die have. So very difficult. When it regains, I can't see the recall happening just yet.
It's these late recalls that don't really have that much impact either way.
Yeah.
Just a parachute flying into the middle of the zone. Yes, you can maybe get some information sometimes. Very rarely you might live, but how many times are you really gonna live? He's going for it though. He's going for it into the blue. He has a jammer pack. And if Leos is able to hold on to the compound, I'm gonna eat my words here. Because Win or Die has a compound. They're gonna get this. Is he gonna get it? No, he's dead.
Dunk.
See you later.
Do you know what? He tried it. I give him that. I wouldn't have gone for it. I would have looked at it going, well, we're in the middle of the zone now. What's the risk? But I suppose you're in the zone. You've got the compound. Maybe you get a parachute on top. But yeah, it was a risk. Bushido held up. They held their side of the bargain. The RDM, well, we saw this come into fruition yesterday, actually, on this map as well. And it didn't last that long. Done more damage of pushing players outside of the zone than actually running them over. But Hive move into a position in the south side of the zone as they survey the land. Trying to figure out where those shots came from Bushido.
Oh, it's a double.
Oh, it's a double. It's a race.
When I die out, they took the Giga risk, and I honestly respect it a lot. He could have gotten the first res off just in time for phase 5, maybe even gotten the second one off.
Yeah.
And they could have just been uncontested in the compound as 4. Now, Fairy Tail sitting in the center with a BIDM. FaZe walking up from the blue, get themselves a single kill onto the one of the only teams that are 4 standing. ruining the game a bit here for Skittles. As it's only Slowstorm and Hive now who actually still have a full squad standing, and that's in phase 5. This has been carnage.
Push over. We use the smoke. Links. 7 shots remain. Be cautious. Actually opt to get in the car. Goes for the reposition. Says thank you very much. We're going to use the hillside to the advantage though, but taking shots on the other side. Sloyd will finish it off. Wonder if they know there's a Lynx now up for grabs.
Not looking great for Bushido. Not a lot of space to play. Gotta fall away from the car. Gonna get stuck on the rock. Oh, they have a second car. That's good. But where are they going from here? They just want to disengage. You can tell. They have no tools to deal with this. And there's a second one coming in. Doesn't make it any better. How aware is Fairy Tail of what they're walking into? I'm not sure.
No, but it's going to be chaotic, should we say? Well, there's a start. Omalovo get Schengen down, so let's show their arm strength first. And there it comes back. Whee! Goes through. I've got the better skin. Therefore, I can run him over. Hive going to try and get in a position to try and defend up as they go for a tank.
No way.
Straight in. Full meme moments, and Fairy Tail are loving it.
What? They just got played. It's a 4v2. They had a BRDM as well, and they lost 2.
Love it. And they hit and run as well. You see that? Go get the recall if you want. We're going back to zone.
That's crazy. They just got so outplayed.
Bushido left. We're not having any of that. I know exactly what's coming to me. Get in the car. We're getting out of it. There's 2 of them. Let them duke it out in the south. Out. Fortunately, doesn't have the gas to get up the hill, but go for the reverse gear and maybe go for a full send down towards the south. Zone shifts away. Goes back towards the compound. Guys from Hive, yeah, that's rough.
That is rough. I'm not sure. I mean, the BRDM meta, right? It hasn't formed. It's not clear what the best way to do it is. But there's no way in hell that you're losing 2 to a duo who has a BRDM when you have a BRDM. And I also don't know if you're supposed to be driving circles all the time. I mean, maybe they have enough gas cans, but gas is a limiting factor on these, right?
Yeah. Maybe they planned for it. Maybe they just didn't plan to have a second one on the map. That was maybe their downfall at the moment.
That's what PUBG is. PUBG is adapting. That's literally the #1 skill. And yeah, so he had a gas can. Okay, he's already filled it up once. Maybe he even has more, but he's got plenty of gas for the rest of the game.
Yeah. He needs to keep on the move. I think he's worried about the panzers like we saw yesterday. Skittles unfortunately lose enough one. So Storm pushing away in
that's the
onto
Lynx.
this west. Lynx is there. Got it. And if they want to try and get that line of sight towards that BRDM, so they will now move further into field. Skittles having to go full send now. Find a home for a short period of time. It does give up a lot of train now towards Slowstorm.
And they're giving up the links to Slowstorm. So, one of the strongest teams in the server right now, numbers-wise, now has a tool to deal with the BRDM. Hello, April. Oi, oi. That's one of the BRDMs out, but that's a big nade from April. Nicely done.
Explosive. It's worth the risks. Yeah, good hold. Good play. Ante still driving his way around. Lots of space now on the south, and actually Hive are the only 2 that remain. And you mentioned the links as well. They're getting up the area, getting up the terrain. The zone obviously slightly towards more of a southwest, but Slowstorm have an element of control here. The trees provide some cover. The Doritos start to roll down their hill. It's going to be a matter of timing. Yeah. Oh, they haven't? No, none of them's got it.
They didn't get the links. Observer did us the favor of switching through all of them to see if they have it, and they didn't. So we know that there was a tool in the server to stop Dante and the BRDM. But Slowstorm didn't realize, didn't loot the body yet. They're too busy playing the game. They're too busy trying to win the game. They don't have the caster vision we do. Just seeing every little thing. And that might cost them.
You can see. I think they might have a Panzer ready to go.
Oh, big.
That was a grenade. The second one, they bounced off the outside. That third one goes in. That's really good. The damage will force him back. And the blue zone takes an additional step. CS will go down. Akim will fall. And now we get into the placement points. 4 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. But 2 will feel like 22 shortly as the BRDM for Hive is moving in.
It's a lot of good util from Slowstorm, but it's not very synchronized, and it costs them no knock, no entry. No easier game for them here. If they combined it a little bit better, if they timed it a little bit better, that would have been a knock either way. But it's a little spread out. Dante gets the free information, falls back, keeps his vehicle intact. Gets to reposition more. Doesn't have to do anything this circle just yet.
No.
So he's not feeling forced to make any risky moves.
Just gaining information every time. He's just driving his way around. People get drawn into it. They look their way, but he's still gaining the intel. Still 4 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. Skill store in zone. Fairy Tail move in and start to lose parts of the zone. I've completely left their own devices on the south. Drops will fall in the middle. We'll stop at least in, I suppose, some path into the BRDM. It's going to be a fight for the compound. And Slowstorm, when they've got the numbers, they do move in. I think they're trying to gain the information. It's Fairy Tail get the first shot.
Nice bit of damage though. They left an off angle, and it does so much work for them. Outside wall is good though. April, he's been on a tear. He's been blowing people up. He's been winning gunfights. He has to do a little bit more of it. Bomilovo, it helps out. 2v2 now from a 2v4. It's not looking good for Slowstorm. And again, that outside wall is so valuable.
Yeah. And they, oh, great nade. They pushed their way through the compound. No intel on the other side, though. Molly's going to stop the push round. Has to go and step on and around towards the blue. No connection shot at the moment. He's going to try and now stick the res where they can, but he can't do it as he gets confirmation. 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. And the numbers have fallen. The wall has prevailed.
Big stuff from Fairy Tail. That's a good nade as well. Oh my god.
Perfect.
Dominating with a util this game is Fairy Tail. They can now play it slow. Try and close it out. Dante says, I'll have a gander. Because nothing can happen to me. And now he can step up and he can let the util just rain on in. Anything happens to him,
oh
he gets
my
back
God.
in the BRDM. And Fairy Tail is suddenly stopped in their tracks.
And damage being done. He pulls down. They're going to try and stick the res here. Skills, I was about to say, at some point they need to activate. They've got to hear all the commotion now. Now the kill feed's also saying a Hive is engaging as well. Bomilovo, here's the footsteps on the outside. There comes the flash. Bomilovo has the cover though. The information goes through. They go for the flash. He goes for the bait though. He goes for the re-peek. One's down to 1 HP. He's trying to get the door, but no. Slowstorm will hold. Fairy Tail, despite a great defensive line on the wall, they're going to take 4th place.
Just ruined by Hive here. That knock from Dante, yeah, it's a big nade, but such a disaster for Fairy Tail. Skittles, they were on the brink of getting cleared by Slowstorm, and now they're looking at a very winnable game. The IDM is going to make it a little bit harder. Again, the Lynx was out of the picture. But Skittles is suddenly in the best spot in the zone.
He's going to repair. Love it. 2 versus 2 versus 1. Skittles, they disciplined. They didn't push straight in, did they? They waited. So the kill feed start to go. Now they're going to reposition. Now they're playing for the zone. They go down towards that sort of southwest corner. The RDM, it's more of a dance off between vehicles now. Hive looking to figure out how they can close this game out. So they reposition the vehicle. Jumps out. Jumping out blind as well. The Skittles player. It's on the other side of the zone.
He's got the angle. There's a bit of the damage. No knock just yet. They want to blow up this BRDM. They want to stop that unstoppable force, but it's going to take an immense amount of bullets. 50 HP here. He can pull up. He can try to use it as cover. He can use it as a distraction. He can do so much with it. No support from the teammate at this point, but he keeps drawing the attention, and there it is. Just gets a crunch. Gets the run over. It is so hard to deal with.
Yeah. Do we start seeing... I shall not be moved! Now I get flattened. God, you have to start prepping for it. You have to... At what point does Skittles know there's a BRDM in the map? They're going to be disappointed Slowstorm didn't pick up the links, right? It'll be a bit more of a joint effort. Slowstorm will fall. It is a 2 versus 1 here. BRDM is just trying to squeeze its way through. Slowly spraying into the smoke, and the C4 is getting prepped behind.
Oh, what?
We saw this yesterday. It's in the car already.
I mean, Dante can get the info. Rox can pull up with a C4, and it's GG.
Yeah. Here
He just
comes
hugs him with the car
He's
now.
done it. You're going to hear the bleep. Get away from it! Get away from it! Boosh! Winner, chicken dinner, C4 explosive! That's tactical chest moves. I felt like that game. Explosive start. Hive will bag it. 9 kills with additional 5 placement points on the board for them. 14-point game needed. They're trying to, again, continue to drive their way up. But lots of technical ways around the ending. 2 BRDMs, a C4 ending, good hold from the compound. I don't even go back to saying about the win or die. They didn't have to leave the compound, but they opted to try and go for the recall system.
Yeah. Win or die with a big risk. Doesn't work out. Hive with the BRDM C4 combo. Almost... Yeah, no. I think that's good. I was thinking, do you put the C4 on the BRDM? Because it's even easier to hunt someone down with the BRDM, but it doesn't really matter. Not a whole lot you do against that. Not a whole lot. And here was... Yeah. This was where Hive was honestly trolling. This is where Hive was really just taking the game and throwing it away. But in the end, everything panned out where every other team was so weak as well that a duo was just enough to win.
Yeah. You gotta suppose there's an element of confidence when you drive around with a BRDM and you think you're the only one, and then one suddenly rolls up and flattens 2 of the members. You gotta reposition. Good hold. Play as well from Slowstorm. Gotta remember they went across that compound in the end game. They didn't really have the intel on the east side, but they run their way through. Again, Fairy Tale on the whole. Bomolovo really showing why he's one of the top of the lobbies. And then it wasn't going to be long before the ending came up. It's an explosive ending. It's Hive that was going to take it, and that was Tago done and dusted.
Again, we said the Tago has never been chill. Tago's never been calm, and it wasn't. I think Hive have locked it in with this one, but we still have 2 more games for you tonight. So we're not going to keep you waiting. We're going to send you to a very short break, and when we come back, game number 3.
Updates to ranked mode, some gunplay adjustments, the return of the black market, and a little boom boom while you zoom zoom. All this and more as we dive into the update 36.1 patch report. First up, ranked mode is getting some major changes for season 36. Ranks now feature 2 new tiers: Crystal between Platinum and Diamond, and Survivor tier for those who can manage to push themselves beyond Master. Ranked Duo mode is being added, while tiers and RP have been unified across party types and perspectives. Because of this, everyone's RP will be reset this season back down to 1500. And ranked playpoint rewards have been improved. So drop in, rank up, and collect your new rewards. In addition, we're also unifying your Battlegrounds experience between ranked and normal matches. This means you'll see the recall system, Red Zone, BRDM, and items like the Zipline gun and C4 in ranked. These are big changes to how ranked works, so be sure to let us know your feedback. Next up, we've got a couple of weapon adjustments coming your way. We've cut down the AUG's aim punch by roughly 50% and slightly reduced its damage, while the VSS and muzzle brake have been buffed. We'll be launching Gunplay Labs DMR Rebalance soon to test the reduced RPM and damage for DMRs. This DMR rebalance aims to strengthen the unique characteristic of DMRs and better differentiate them from SRs. So make sure you drop in and let us know your thoughts. PUBG's annual superstore, the Black Market, is making its return this update. Pick up a new Crafter Pass along with 4 classic progressive weapon skins and 6 chromas. Check out the upcoming Black Market announcement for all the details on how to grab these fan-favorite skins. We've also rebalanced the red zone a bit and added vending machines and destructible pots to Vikendi. And speaking of destruction, players can now toss throwables while driving and use handguns from the driver's seat in Watercraft, just in case you needed to add a little more rage to your road. There's a lot to dive into, so be sure to check out the patch notes for full details on everything. Update 36.1 is here, so stop by the black market, brush up on your ranked skills, and toss more out your window than dirty looks. We'll see you on the battlegrounds.
And with a blink of an eye, we are back. Taco done, dusted. We're getting Rondo just ready, but we need to ready up the leaderboard. Tally the points together, because after that game, we have a slight little change up. But Hive are climbing that leaderboard. 44 points for Wanna Die. Hive are in second with 43, and we go all the way down. The current cutoff point is 24 points. There's a few teams that are lurking around that. CS, even down in 13th place. They're refusing to let go just at the moment.
Yeah, it's super stacked. It is super stacked, and Ascend get a good bit of points on the board, so it's now put themselves in the kind of pack that looks okay, right? But I think even like there's a good chance that this cutoff climbs to something around the 33, 34 point mark. I would say SlamG is probably good, just because SlamG doesn't really go out with 0 points 2 times in a row, right? But yeah. FaZe Clan probably qualified on 36. Everyone below is still in it, right? Krint, they just need 1 point. Slowstorm just need a few. Bushido could always get a few. I think Bushido would even be my number one contender here to break back into that top 8. They play one good game and suddenly they're on 30 points, right? So a lot can still happen on this scoreboard.
I didn't even add 100 ADR. I kind of wrote them off coming to there. Thought they were just not, they're hot and cold. They do a really good event, you're really bad. I didn't think they were going to sort of make their way in. But I even argue to say they're also trying to set themselves up. Now, this is the penultimate game. These are our 8 teams that already have qualified on week number 7. Foot did top the table there, but they will be the first 8 that are going towards the Masters. We are looking, though, in the last 2 games today to find those final 8 teams. But yeah, you're right. We're doing good. 100 ADR doing good. Slowstorm, they're refusing to give up as well. So it is really, really tight around that kind of cutoff. Is Ascend safe? I thought they were to start with. I don't know, a couple of teams below them. If they have really good games now, it means it goes to the wire in the last game. We know how chaotic those final games can be.
Yeah, you hate to be in a position of vulnerability in those last 2 games, right? We have the Rondo now. Rondo always a bit unknown quantity. We've got the EMP zones, we've got the gliders, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to a last game where it feels like so many teams are still in it. So many teams are still there, just getting a 12-point game, and suddenly you're out. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be tricky for everybody in the top side of the scoreboard. There's tons and tons of chances for everybody at the low side, like you said, right? Even CS, one good game. That's all they need. So this is a best of 8. This doesn't happen in every best of 8. Sometimes the teams at the top just run away with it, but this is the reason we play few games. We keep it exciting until the very end.
Yeah, it feels like it. And for those that don't know, obviously there is a slight change up in the point system. The winning, the placement points, you'll get 5 for a win. Second place, you'll get 3, then 2, then 1 for 4. So again, historically, you'd be looking from a top 8. Here, we're looking for a top 4. But also, it's really driving, we've already spoken about this before, we're driving the kills. Kills. And that's why we're seeing a lot of action early on. Well, it's the penultimate game. It's match number 7. It's Rondo time. Comes in from a northeast, across towards a west. But it also does favour more of a northwest. So we are playing more of the top side. Do we get that sort of test track, that bamboo style ending? We'll have to wait and see.
Two more chances. 2 more games to lock it in. Not a whole lot of teams who are confirmed already. Hive with that last game have done it. Wanna Die has done it. Virtus Pro has done it. I'd say FaZe Clan's probably done it as well, but that's 4 teams out of 12. 4 teams out of 16, sorry. 12 left. The maths are not with me today. It's been a rough day. The heat is cooking me. I'll stop talking. We have a hot drop in Mohopan.
I think you're right there. I think that we do have 4 teams potentially locked in already. SlamG just on that precipice as well. Early drop. As we hands out will go down without dope. This is a last ditched attempt. Without dope in 15th place. Has a hope in 16th. 12 to 10 points. So it's full destruction. It does mean that these teams do annihilate. and they go down, and obviously we see a whole team will fall, is not points that are going to be shared around that sort of area that some teams will be more desperate to take it. So with these lower teams fighting it out, it is good fun watching, but it makes the leaderboard harder, especially if it comes down to the next game.
NWG as well is a team in range here, right? They can pick up 1 or 2 kills here, maybe. Third party the hot drop a little bit. That'd be pretty solid for them. That could be what they need. Even them. Yeah, they're on 14 points, right? They're 10 points away. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. In 2 games? So doable. Literally Hands of Hope in last place can still qualify for this, so... You're winning that hot drop. You got all the cards in your own hand.
That's it. And it also sets you up that sort of momentum we speak about sometimes. Like, if you clear out a hot drop pretty clean, 4 points in the bag, you're like, oh, we feel good in this game. Who's next? So now, Hands of Hope have the better side of the zone, but both the teams are in the zone. As we can see, it has pulled back towards the early part of the flight path. So very much on that east side. This track there, CSCS is the same as well. A team that has been climbing that leaderboard as mentioned before. Middle die, early rotation. I won't be too surprised if a lot more teams maybe favour that sort of north side. There's seen quite a few sort of pull back towards test track and then hold that sort of north side. But now we don't quite know. What we do know, Fairy Tail. I guess they knock and confirm on Bushido.
Bushido's not happy about that though. Bushido's flying in. Bushido wants to arrest this man immediately. He's got himself a JS9 though. He's got 2 geared. Not a whole lot of bullets, Mark. So that is not great. Can he get himself a sword off? Makes it even more deadly. Are they even aware? I think they must be aware. Where he is. They're just waiting to group up. They're waiting to gang up on him. Again, SMG could be absolutely deadly here.
Good. Outside sort of work his way to the compound. That is going to be 100% confirmation of it. No, they do now. Someone still remains. He's going to use the smoke. He's going to now block out the information on the other side. What I think. In position. They're coming through. The chest knight gets one eye. Swings across to their second, but unable to do those. 7 bullets remain in the chamber. And Fairy Tail, well, they full send the bikes here. But no, and they flatten him over. Bright side of life. Well, not for April.
Oh, that's not what you want to say. Metabay caught in the open, though. Equalizing the numbers nice and quick. 2v2 now for Fairy Tail. 3v2 if they can get the res off before Bushido do. And I don't think Bushido is getting that res anytime soon. Metabay is so open. Messy fight, but teams would love to lock in these points. Kill points are massive. Fairy Tail, just a few points. Just 3 or 4. Already put themselves in a great spot.
They have. Fortunately for them, April falls again after this spray will come in from now. Be cautious, trying to be more aggressive. Confident enough to now pop the smoke because they have to, again, get that res. And with the initial knock, it's the second bleed. So, going to take a little bit quicker. Bushido reposition slightly. We are seeing Hive again. They're lurking their way around. Maybe they're going to look for a third-party action. We've always said they're kind of secured, but a nail in the coffin here for Hive. I'll be putting their logo in at least that top 8 position. Them to come back next week to play the Masters.
Feeling like Bushido's going to be the one caught here. They're making the big move through the open courtyard, but it doesn't look like Hive has spotted them just yet. Maybe just now. Getting that bit of information. Conf is super ready for it. He's reading this. He knows it's coming. He's got to get himself the 3v crossbook. Thought he was being sneaky. But he's been outdone just like that. 3 points for Fairy Tail. Bushido down to 1. Fairy Tail would love to make that 4.
Yeah. Remember as well, we've got the recall system, right? So, it doesn't matter about keeping the numbers up. It just matters, as Koro said in the last game, winning of the fight. Hive looking for the third-party action. Bushido disengaging, going back towards the north, but they've got back into the Hive, and the Queen Bee strikes those rocks, though. Causes some huge damage, though, onto the car, but doesn't get the connection that he needed to. The Titan now goes, will spin out his way through Bamboo. Now has to try and get into safety, but Presenti's happy and waiting. And there's that final blow. Bushido going to fall 16th place. And at least Fairy Tail, no. There's some third-party action, but we can't wait too much. Oh, yeah. Here, let me get up here. I'm going to fight. Cut through. Sideswipe. you know what I really like about that as well, Kai, is that he continues fighting. He was like, and he looked back to the tree like, just be quiet. I'm fighting here. Get you in a second.
Yeah. Priorities are straight. And they are correct, to be honest. Gets a big knock before anything else matters. CS, I said a win and they could do it. They've just now lost 2 members. Not a good start for them whatsoever. And FaZe are picking it up where they always leave it off. Early kills, early aggression. No stopping.
Aggressive fights again. One more game in the bag for them. Enough points. Done and dusted. Too shocked to see FaZe when it comes down to the Masters Cup. On a short a few times, but obviously with the changes of rosters happening, Hands of Hope provided some Hands of Hope to the back of the card. They load the Panzer in there. And they back. Just spray some shots just to let NWG know exactly where he is.
Gotta pressure these gliders off. Can't let them get into your face too much. FaZe with 2 more. CS on the wrong side of the bad side of FaZe clan. Not where you want to be. They're just running out of their compound to farm you. Welcome to the big lobbies.
I didn't think
Welcome.
there were sides. I thought it was just
Welcome
one
to the
side.
big dog.
It was just FaZe killing people. I didn't think there was an option not to be killed by them. But I do like it when they're aggressive, Carl. When they push forward, continue to push forwards. They just clear teams so clinical.
Yeah. 8 out of 10 times, and 2 out of 10 times they just fall apart. But it works.
80% of the time, it works every time.
Exactly. Exactly. Observer figured out that this man's in the glider. Good. Hello. Glad to have you with us, Benny. It is the glider map. It is an incredible tool. And I honestly love it. I wasn't sure about it in the first place because it seems so overpowered. I still think it is a little bit overpowered. But it's overpowered for teams on the edge, right? It's overpowered for teams that have generally worse loot spots, generally worse circle priority. And then if you're in the middle of the circle, you don't really care about having a glider, right? So it does balance out the circle factor a little bit. And I just love seeing players make the most out of it.
Yeah. It is used as well, different. Obviously, we see teams use it for scouting for information, which is the primary use, right? But we see teams use also to work their way in. They're kind of the spearhead as they drive their team forwards. And then you see some teams that fight some chaos as they just sort of find their prey and circle like sharks in the sky. For now, these guys are just scouting their way forward, just going to chip away at the zone as they will move in. Zone shift, though, in the next 30 seconds. Some of the other teams, though, have sort of all sent it towards that centralized zone, back to sort of that test track. But there are some teams on the outside edge. Ascend, one of them. Someone's right, quite at the other side. NWG, number glider. They're much on that sort of south side. So a shift here south. It's going to force a huge amount of traffic.
Yeah, it's one of those super polarizing zones. Lots of water in the middle of it. So we're either going east or we're going west. This one's looking like we're going west. We're going straight towards test track most of the time here. Can end somewhere around win or die, maybe. But we're 90% of the time going to be ending west of the water. And that means there's a whole lot of test track in play. And there's not a whole lot else because it's very, very open terrain around it. You can find yourself some dips. You can use the folded shields, use the cars. But power compounds are just a few of them. And they will dominate this late game.
So you can dominate now. 15 teams, we've only lost 1. 56 players in that zone shift. It's kind of says back towards that west side, back towards that test track at the moment. Lots of gliders in the air. Ascend, duking it out with NWG. It's glider versus glider battle. It's top, might be top of his area. He's going to spray down and FaZe. All the chaos happening around him. Lots of good stuff. And now they know they've got a neighbor of VP as they sneak their way in. No way.
Prince says, thank you. We'll pick that one up. Poppycock traded on the other side. Immediately confirmed. That's going to be hard now Well, they are one, though. Gets surrounded, gets hunted down. Crit with 2. Without dope not staying clean. That's a glider pull-up. He's just bouncing around. Almost took off again. But he has made it in the end. Yeah, that you can't park there.
You can't park there, mate. He's not leaving, I can tell you that. He's fully committed to the compound now. And it's a full glider crash. More gliders still remain. Fairy Tail just on the outside edge now. Hive are in that test track. Now, don't forget, the rest of Fairy Tail are further towards the west. So, Conf just scouting, trying to get a bit of information, but doesn't have to commit in here. So, to sort of step back to work his way round towards the southwest corner. Just about steps his way away from the Hive hold they set up.
That was Krint getting themselves 2 as well. And
yep.
That's pretty big, because I have a 9th or 10th place, something around that. Just going to highlight again, all the water that's in play here. It's going to mean that even if zone shifts east now, it almost always will go back a little bit west. Win or Die is in a fantastic spot because of that. They don't care. They're flying into Krint. They're just flying the heck on in. They don't really care about circle positions by the looks of things. Maybe they just want Krint out. Maybe they just want Vanos out. I'm not sure what the deal is here. This looks personal to me, Mark.
It is personal, taking the compound away. Levante, quick kill confirmed. Also, his footsteps though. Can't peek on around, it goes towards the he actually clears it out. Head of my bats, the final player. Nade comes through and not just picks up 1, but picks up 3 for the price of 1 nade.
Vanos is coming with a farmhouse in hand. Nade from the grave did it all there. Nades exchanged now. Both not gonna do the trick, but oh, that's a nice peek. Good bit of damage done. Close range. Drop weapon should do the trick here. Level 3 gear so good as well. Halamaibad out of bullets. Manos on the push, and surely he can make this work, but no, Halamaibad puts him down, puts him out of the lobby, puts Krint in a terrible spot now for game 6.
Yeah, they needed that. That's the aggressive stance. Will Die. They crushed their way in. I'm gonna try and get all these bodies back up if they
Chris
can.
is here.
I was about to say they know they're a team, but Chris is in the
Chris is
gliders,
going
isn't he?
in. Yeah, he's just pulled up. He said, hey, we can do that too. I think he's pulled up with a Panzerfaust as well, but...
He has. Oh my god, Chris wants action. Oh, the car goes. 180 odd getting involved as well on the other side. JDR getting the confirmation on Hive. That's the fight.
Ooh.
In the test track though. Falls up. Pains whips his way around the outside though. Jedrox is down. Yeah, well, we've got to be careful. Has to pop the smokes. But his own nade's going to cause the damage. And Pain Store trying to hold here. Another nade goes through the door, bounces off, goes towards the guys for Win or Die. Will it get the connection it needs to? And here comes the glider. Whee! We're going to get into the fight and ascend. Also crash stairs into the compound.
They gotta get in. They gotta get inside. They can't just stay outside here forever. They're getting third-partied, torn to bits. Heaven now with the SMG, close range. Björn, not sure where that smoke was meant to go, but it didn't go where it was meant to. That's what I'm sure about. Ascent need more than 1 point here. They can't just hang around and get nothing done again.
Yeah, this is a make or break game. We saw them play a little bit more passive though at the start. They wanted to keep on the outside edge, but now they've got to get the kills. Björn is going to be the final player now. Nate, so we ready. We're going to hear the cook. Flash comes out. He's going to jump his way back to cover. Flash on the inside, well, causes more damage though. Vante driving forward, can't quite find it, but he's closed the door. He's in the trap though. Flash will go in, he'll close the door as he cooks it. Goes on the other side, but he's right in the door, gets caught, but no, the flash is enough when it comes down. Win or Die will clear Ascend, and that, for our Ascend fans, means a painful last game is coming up for them.
They gotta get it done on the last one, and that's not a good spot to be in. Good news for them is, right, we saw Krint go out. We saw without Dope losing players.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of teams that are also in the hunt not doing great here, so there's still a chance that this works out. But there is a world where they fall out of the top 8, absolutely.
Yeah, it's always last game. Always last game. Hopefully they can hold. But holding at the moment, well, that's FaZe plan at the moment. 100 ADR. Yeah, initial shots, but FaZe destroy as they tried to breach their way in. Final player now, Rookie, as he comes into the containers. You know, need to rush at the moment. Maybe hoping, praying that VP gets involved and try and take advantage. But with the elevation, the verticality that FaZe have got, they've got all of the game to play. There goes another recall system. WG looking to get back to 4.
You say looking to get back to 4, but I just don't know how Topic is going to regroup with the rest of the squad. Even if he gets the real survive off, he's got to get through Hands of Hope. Not going to be easy, that one. Not going to be a walk in the park. He's east of them, so he's got to come in here. Where 3 of them are holding him out. He's going to take quite a bit of blue damage. Oh, and he also just barely didn't get the timing off? No, he did. Okay. ATX is in the correct plane. Yeah, he just wasn't visible on the map, but he's in the correct plane. Double res as well for CS2. Where are they landing, though? Just straight into Snowstorm? No, they're trying to land on their own bodies, I believe. I'm not sure where they're going. I don't really have a lot of hope for them right now.
Yeah, just pulled the shoots really high, and they're going to try and stay well out of the way. Which combat do we go for? Doesn't matter where they go, they're going to get shot at. They're going to get isolated. There's a shack they could share. They're both down. I think it's now a duke out. Who's going to fall? Him does get the buggy. Has lost a player. Now I think he'll be looking for the right timing just to get across the road. But you're right, they have gone for their bodies. That's why they were going for that. Was the target.
Yeah, but it's like, that's the downside of a revive, right? All they did there was feed another point. They got 1 player back in now, but they also fed another point to a team that is competing for qualification with them. Slowstorm, 10th place before this game. You can't be a naked man flying out of the sky next to a team that wants to push you out of qualification range. So it's a tricky tool to be using. It's super interesting mechanic in that sense, because it has ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's going to be really exciting to see when players just lock it in and fully figure out when and how to use the recall.
That's what I love about Carlson Esports. You get the first release of something, and you get your fun players like the Pixels. Unfortunately, he's now gone for retirement. Get to use and abuse it. We've seen boats and bikes and all sorts being inflated into cars. Let's pause that for a second because MWG, well, they've been crashed at the moment. Hand of Hope will lose 1. That nade could be huge. They step over the wall. It hasn't. It's gone back the other way, though. MWG on the defensive here as they launch their util through. The nade comes out. The car's going to go as well. He doesn't know. He's put himself back to it. He has no idea. There goes the car, and he's going to fall down.
2 standing. Hands of Hope, they need more than this. So does NWG. There's a potential sweep. That is a C4 from Senka Pow Pow. He's going to put it on the wall, and they're going to fall away from it. Can they fall away in time? It is mounted now.
Oh, no.
And oh, that molly, he stepped into it. Oh, that's so bad.
He's been caught as well.
Oh, Hoppage. That molly is so punishing.
That is unfortunate as well. Right over the smoke. And as soon as we get towards the other side, we say goodbye to another team. Slowstorm, well, they're going to take 12th place at the moment. Skittles will charge into the north side of the zone. Do they know there's a solo waiting? They go towards the shack. The CSCS, he might have found his body. He's found himself some aggressive neighbors now as the zone shifts away.
Big shift for NWG, big shift for Fairy Tail. Vex gets himself a BMW. Another one picked up for FaZe. 7-point game for them means qualification.
Yeah.
Almost confirmed. Timbo, he's blue healing. 11 first aids left. He's got a free Dante in his sights. But he's gonna take his time. He's toying with his food at this point. Gonna get another first aid off. Dante's gonna try and get himself up the stairs, but the stairs are far. But Jimbo has plenty of time to deal with this, while VP is doing the hard work outside of test track.
He's going to fake it. I love it. Absolutely love it as well.
Does he even have time? If he gets a first aid off, I don't think he has time to get the respawn in, right?
He's literally, as you say, he's playing with his food at the moment.
Yeah.
Is this going to bait it again? I thought he was going to actually do a dance. He's got loads of nades. Well, back towards the action now. Sandy on the whole. VP now charge their way out and test track into the hands, though, of the guys of Slam. Mogul will fall. Arctic does get 1. CSCS getting involved as well. Here comes a nade. Has to go for the overhand. Those nades come back first from VP. Arctic repositions now using the cars as cover. But they've got the position in. They've got the hold. And Slam G, well, they find themselves annihilating VP. 5 kills on the board. Again, another team potentially locking themselves now for next week.
Gotta respect what Artex is doing there. Have you paid attention to his helmet?
Yeah.
It looks like a level 3 helmet. He's wearing a level 2 helmet skin that looks very much like a different level 3 helmet skin. Just to potentially, I might be overanalyzing this, but that's big mind games. That's you never want to see an opponent with a level 3 helmet. You know, it makes you realize, okay, that knocks are going to be a whole lot harder to get than what I would like. So he's maybe putting in a little bit of extra work there.
I wouldn't put it past you. Wouldn't put it past you. Gustav, well, he's going to play UAV from now on. As James had enough time just to stay up, stay relevant towards the fight. And Fairy Tale.
Does Gustav live in this?
I could do. He's pulled early. He's well above everyone else. At what point did they look up towards him? He just needs to cruise on down to late game.
Is he cruising for placements?
Why not? He's cruising down for Gustav Town. That's what he's doing from the high skies.
Dante got the res as well, by the way. Hive's gonna have another parachute here. Oh, no, he doesn't.
No.
He doesn't get the respawn because he dies before the plane starts. He just had to live 8 more seconds and he would have gotten the res. Oh, that's rough. Unfortunate for Hive.
Look at him. Whee! Just sent himself up. No one's going to look up unless they're rotating in.
I mean, Gustav can literally get second place here if he wants to, I think. Just parachuting in the south. Yeah, like, what?
He just needs to just chill. He is chilling up there. UAV, Gustav enabled. Fish
Take
gets
notes.
the knock on towards right side now. Winner die 5 kills as well. Looking for another team to get that sort of secure spot. Does mean, unfortunately for these teams that find themselves just on the outside edge or on the cut-off line, it means it's going to be an aggressive start, though, for the next game. But not bad, has to charge his way forward, though. Right side does catch him on the movement, so he's going to give the information over to Omolovo, but now it's going to pop a smoke. So it's kind of target acquired, but nade's already coming back as well. Good nade. Great nade. Oh my
Absolute
god,
banger.
perfect nade!
Absolute banger. Nice opening from Hello, my bad. Rough fight regardless. 3 gear on Levante is always a scary thought, though. And there's Boostic from the other side. Levante from one, Boostic from the other. It's not a fun position to be in if you're Fairy Tail. They're getting the smokes out. They're getting the emergency covers out. They're getting naded. They're nading back. They're trying to take fights. And Gustav?
It's doing the
He's having a good time. He's watching. He's enjoying.
He is just laughing. You know he's laughing. I think he's thinking about can he now backfill.
He's not even floating as much as he could. He
could really
float
anchor
more.
up. He's going for a fight. He's going to go for a fight now. He finds himself in the zone at the back. He's taking the opportunity to at least get some boots on the ground, should we say. But you're right. He could have just cruised on down at the very, very end. But he snuck his way behind Slam
This is
G.
better.
Why? Do you think so?
Yeah.
There's an element someone could look up at some point, right?
Yeah, somebody could look at it at some point, which Win or Die, or Twist, Win or Die, sorry, with the Twist plan tag, have already done. But he put himself behind a team that will probably win the game. They ain't looking back. They're looking forwards. They're looking to kill what's remaining of Win or Die and what's remaining of NWG. They ain't looking back. Gustav just secured second place with that decision. That's exactly how he should play it.
And you also said, like, from that position from the first, he could find himself in placement points. But now in placement points now, 4 versus 2 versus 1 versus 1. 1 being Gustav with, I think, in the back pocket, apart from a hope and a dream. But he's put, as he said, he has put himself on the right side of the zone. He's put himself behind the team, which is aggressive, just like FaZe, and will have the W key down to push forward because they think they've got all the information now. They think they know where everyone is.
They're going to be in for a bit of a weird moment when they realize, hey, okay, there's a solo we're missing. And then they're going to start checking south. But until then, they're just going to kill what remains on the north. And that's the first.
Oh,
3 gear keeps him alive. 2 gear, that's a knock. 3 gear keeps Levante alive. But you know you always want to hype everything, Mark. But Win or Die just has no chance here.
No. I gotta give him. I'm gonna be honest at that point. They might get knocked. They might get a push forward. But what I'm more interested in, back-to-back rondos, we have found this. Even gets back-to-back rondos, we have found a recall system with a player unable to get gear but find themselves in placement.
Yeah. Partly because everybody dies so fast, but partly, I mean, in this zone, you can't even say this is random or aggressive or anything. There's just not much to play in this zone, right? This is a zone where players will die off very fast because they have to breach compounds. They have to go for aggressive plays. And yeah, zone's gonna close on in. SlamG is now slowly starting to wonder, where is that third player?
Yeah.
Where is the third guy? You can see they're checking every bush. They're starting to realize we've pinned down 2 of them, but where the heck is number 3? And the good thing for Gustav is these bushes are super dense, so there's a bit of SlamG just thinking, well, maybe he's in one of these bushes anyways.
That's exactly what they're thinking.
But regardless, yeah, they're starting to look behind now, but I think they're still killing they're still killing win or die before anything else.
Yeah, he's looking for the 3 additional points, isn't he, at the moment? SlamG on 9 to find the final couple of players. But right, they are now starting to figure out that actually there's only 2 behind the rocks. There's definitely 1 other elsewhere. Mogul, well, takes a couple of shots now towards the car, looking to ensure that it gives up its element of cover, but he knows with the zone coming, they've got to make a desperate attempt to dart their way towards the zone. They're a hole. Gustav is just on the outside as well. And there goes the first one. Artix is like, there's definitely someone else behind me. I sense it.
How many first aids on Hello My Bad? 9. That could be enough for second place. Probably not. Probably not.
This is rough.
Gustav, put some clothes on. What the heck?
It's cold outside in Rondo. Oh no. Oh no.
Admins, find this man immediately.
This is a full troll. They've gone by and they're going to tick it off.
Oh, he's not in.
No!
No!
Wait,
What?
what,
He got it.
He got second.
Oh.
Did he get second? I think it was
He
close.
got second. He got second. By a millisecond.
Oh my god, he got
By
second.
a
Yes!
millisecond.
9 kills for first
That is
place.
so silly.
Second place for Gustav. Full troll mode. I don't know, like, I 100% agree with you that I think that was the right play that he put himself behind that winning team, right? But there's a little bit of the inner child in me that would have loved to see him at the very end just float down. Just pop himself in the middle and go, I'm here, second place, win.
Yeah. I think he played that to perfection. I think that was something we've never seen in PUBG, right? We've never seen anybody parachute into a phase, what was it, 6, 7? With 3 teams alive, 4 teams alive. He played that to perfection, even at the end. Not standing up and not running into the zone. He would have been hurt and he would have been killed. So completely the correct play. Maximizing points. There's not a ton of placement points to be gained, but he maximized them.
Nah, to about maximizing points. FaZe, strong. Good kills. VP looking for the kills as well. SlamG hoovering up the kills. All teams up at sort of the top side of the leaderboard. Yeah, we did see some teams on the other side of the leaderboard that were trying to gain as many kills as they could. But the question mark for me, Sen's going out early. We've got teams like Slowstorm. All these teams that are in the middle, they now need a big game because so many kills went to the low side of the leaderboard or on the other side, very much on that top side. So it just means that kind of middle pack is going to be really, really rough in this last game.
Yeah, I had a look at the leaderboard as well. So many teams that needed the points, only got very few of them. SlamG obviously running away with things, right? They were in 5th. They locked themselves in. FaZe locked themselves in. Ascend, Skittles. Skittles got some points, but not a massive amount, I don't think. They were 7th. Fairytale was 8th, and they got themselves, what, 4? And then way more at the end. So I think Fairytale is fine. But I think we're still looking at Ascend and Skittles versus, I don't know, Krint, Slowstorm, Bushido, ADR, everybody that's hunting.
Krint tried to take the fight though, right? They were being aggressive. They were putting kills on. Sen fell. Fairytale looking to try and do the same, right? So Skittles looking to try and do the same. It's those teams that are on the cutoff line. That's going to be the danger now for them. That's going to be the issue where they've got to try and wait this one out. And there's so many variables in the final game. We only got best of 8, so we've got one more. So so many variables that actually this game can bring. And if some teams go aggressive and they get the upper hand and they stop teams sort of recalling, there's less points on the board for these teams to convert on that final game.
Gonna be super interesting. We have one game, everything is up for grabs. So many teams are playing for top 8. We're gonna hit a very, very short break and then we'll come back to you with game number 8 of the day.
Every survivor lives for that electrifying moment. One heart-pounding match. One unforgettable thrill. But survival isn't just about one match. It's about how far you'll go, how high you'll climb. Now is the time to discover something bigger about yourself. To turn fleeting moments into a lasting mark. No longer just a moment. It's your legacy.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players' Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
Welcome back, everyone, as we get ready for our final game. And more importantly, we haven't even got time to see my ugly mug. I know Kurt's not beautiful to me, but it's leaderboards. One more game left. We're only taking a top 8. And currently, 30 points is what divides them.
30 points on Fairy Tail, 32 on Ascent, 33 on Skittles. So yeah, basically what I thought Fairy Tail had gotten away with more points in that position mark, but I guess they just got blasted, and I guess our new point format meant they didn't get away with a whole lot there. So 30, 32, and 33 are the teams you're looking to punch out, and Krint is the #1 team to do it. And I'm gonna have to send some DMs at Win or Die, asking them if they really wanted Krint out of that game, because they breached them immediately.
100%. It was an aggressive breach. But 30 points, as I said, is that cutoff line. So I'd even argue an explosive game from CSCS, which needs to be very explosive from the offset, has a capability of potentially getting above that 30. But that's a lot of variables with things like Fairy Tail, etc., not getting any points. But there are a lot of teams, though, on that cutoff point, but we have that cutoff point passed now, as we are in match number 8 here, the final match, though, for week number 2, day number 2, and the last opportunity for these teams to get a ticket to the Masters.
Honestly, I don't think it has to be that explosive, right? I mean, they're 10 points behind right now.
Yep.
A win is 5 points. A 10-kill win puts them into currently 6th place. So then there can still be 2 teams that get points and push themselves past them, but they could get an 8th with that 10-kill win easily. So basically everything is still up for grabs. Yes, when you're looking at Without Dope or Hands of Hope, it's fair to say that they're out of the question, but that is 2 teams out of 16 that aren't playing for qualification right now. Everybody else is.
Oh, hold on. Was you just positive then? You normally talk about points. Go, too much. No, they're not going to make it. This is just not the analytics. The data set is not enough. You just gave that team hope and glory.
It's the heat. It's messing with me. I'm not my real self.
My brain's melting away. CS, you heard it from Koro. Able to potentially get in with a good game, not a great game. The flight path, though, is the southwest up towards the northeast. Does favour a little bit more of that north side. Everyone, apart from Win or Die and Slowstorm, who are trying to duke out potentially at the top. On VP, also taking on NWG. They will just get away just about with the car.
This one ain't getting away.
No.
See you later, Slowstorm. That's
No.
not something you see every day. A parachute being popped out of the car. And a hairstyle like that. Crazy stuff going on for Alba, my bad. He's got everything going for him.
They're top of the table, as you saw before, 54 points, and there's a reason why they get the opportunity to drive around and shoot players out. And don't forget, opportunity to try and get that box and get the chip will be huge for Slowstorm, because they are, unfortunately, on the other side of that cutoff at the moment. So, wait and see. It's only pretty late, though, as it does go towards that northeast corner. It does potentially help a team like Ascend. I won't say help, because they are above that cutoff point, but they need to find some points, but they can get a good position to start from. I'll tell you what, actually, Kyle. I'm going to ask you, if you was Ascend, where would you go from here?
Oh, that's a tough one. I like where
Lots of
Chris
options.
is. I think Heaven is a good spot. So that's the compound Chris is going for right now. Probably put 2 players in there. Where you put in the other 2? Probably somewhere northeast, honestly. Why northeast? Not because it's more central, but it's not very contested. I don't think you're getting breached there. You're not getting pressured off. And if one shift goes north or northeast, then any of those compounds a little bit further off are going to be massive. So I'd probably put somebody on Chris. Let Paints loot a little bit. Let Bjorn loot a little bit. And then both those 2 can go for a compound a little bit further north.
Interesting. Yeah, because it has the option of coming down back south, doesn't it? Still got one. I know we've got water on the east, but we have so many in and around that sort of Heaven area. Yaz, though, is populated between Fairy Tale and 100 AR. We've seen those 2 teams battle out in that town many, many times. Bushido, they're going to wrap in just past Send at the moment. They're going between the splits. They're hoping for the shift back towards the east at the moment. No in the compound, but they will cut the engines and climb the hill. That'll be a free take for them. Again, a very strong compound, but it's requiring the zone coming back aggressive their way.
How goofy is the crouch leaning running animation? How funny
little
do
slide.
these little guys look when they're just sliding up a mountain? Bushido gets himself a good spot here. Going surprisingly far east, but again, I think that's a similar kind of thing that I said, right? East is going to be less contested. One good shift, you're suddenly in the best spot in the zone. We're back on air angle, by the way. We're back in the red zone. I think we've kind of figured out how this goes now. We have red zones on Tego. We have them on Erangel. We don't have them on Rondo.
It's every other game. We've got to keep our observer in check. That's what it's about. Other teams are going to start rotating their way around. Grid doing the same. Actually come off Stauber, so they come off the high ground, but they are slightly split at the moment. Slory is getting in the vehicle though, and he's going to tighten up with the team. But again, another team pushing towards that east side that you mentioned about. So looking to try and take some area. They're going to go for a slight split as well. I'm not a favour of this compound personally. I do find teams get stuck here. But the other one they're going to, that sort of split down the road, that is a good hold if they can get to it. Bushido will get on watch now as well as Brent from Ascend, who has been left looting. Does he get left looting? Does he get caught now with the defensive hold from Bushido?
There's a real chance Bjorn
that one was
drives into
close.
Bushido. I'm just here staring at the map while all the observer wants to see is somebody die into red zone. Like
That one was close further away. I'm not going to lie. That one was close. Like, whoever that middle player is had the whiskers shaved off. I do think there is a question around which way does Brent. He actually goes and stuff. He's fine. He doesn't come out that sort of north road and work into that sort of trap. So
well done as well. Doesn't have to risk that. He can go the straight line to his team, and it's the safer approach. So good stuff.
phase bodies, but you'd argue to say qualified at 46 points. I can't see a huge amount of these other teams leapfrogging ahead. And the teams that had the swaps up when it comes around to the rosters looking pretty strong at the moment. We are literally fighting for a couple of spots, aren't we? We're kind of, I kind of say 40 is safe. Like 33 with Skittles is, you think they'd be okay. But again, if these teams that really want it, 9th, 10th, 11th, the kind of slow storm, the 100 ADRs, the Crints, they have the opportunity. Just need to get the points.
Redrop. Prosenka Pao Pao. EWM. Gonna be a nice pickup. It's one of those teams. Again, big game. Suddenly they're back in. Hands of Hope. In a different roster, they've been impressive. With Hibako, they've done good stuff. Without Hibako, not looking super hot on this one. They qualified to the Player Cup, but it wasn't their weekend. It wasn't their Player Cup. Now Rox is gonna try to rat one more. Not gonna get the frag just yet, but he's gonna get the information. Maybe sets up his teammates. Don't think anything is coming from this. But Hive is already qualified. Hands of Hope is already out. And we're already seeing a revive come in here for Hands of Hope.
You got the option. Well, actually, I'll give you a lot. Freedom of movement. Lots of the zone. Hive. Some Dragunov. The connecting shots to spray. With the Org, but doesn't quite get the connection that he wanted. They do tie themselves back up in the 12 stacks. I've sent it a little bit further afield as he's looking at maybe next stopping station for this team. They kind of just go tit for tat. They work their way east. Hive, I think they're just trying to deny entry from Hands of Hope. They're trying to find themselves in a position that they can kind of pop up a roadblock or stop the rotation coming in.
Somehow, the last game has been the quietest, most peaceful game of the entire tournament.
No, you jinxed it. It's done.
The 60 alive, Mark. That's unheard of.
I think this is we've got so many teams around the close mark, right? The teams can't risk it. There's some teams at the top that can be aggressive. We've seen Win or Die do that. They're sort of chasing teams down, right? But there's so many teams that could fall out of the top 8. And there's a good handful of teams that could work their way in as well. So maybe that's why it's a little bit slower as these teams wait to figure out where the zone goes.
This is where Wilvanos is where I would have thought that Ascend can maybe put 2, but I think what's on the map now, they probably would have had to pull it back. A lot of teams seem to be quite interested in that northeast and eastern edge, maybe just for the reasons I've been saying as well.
Yeah.
It's just one good shift, and then there's not a lot of good compounds. Damn, the words are leaving me. The speech is failing me today. It's a rough day, guys. Apologies. The heat is cooking me. But yeah, if it goes northeast, these teams are suddenly in massive spots. Tell you who's not in a massive spot. It's CS2 fighting in the blue.
Right in the blue, they can try and get as many kills as they can. There's one, he goes up to the other side. Oh, he just about gets in as well, Levante. I think he was waiting for the rabbit to run as quick as he could. Ayosh, try and hold. They're holding the cube, but they are on the outside edge. Win or Die on 2 at the moment. Jedrox has gone down. And my bad store refusing to give up the blue chip though for Slowstorm. So he eventually come back for it, and he's there. He has been waiting this whole time, Koro, with the trap that he knew they were going to try and get the recall system to work in their favor, and denied yet again. Oh no.
Oh, what's going on here?
He's trying to bait a crash, isn't he?
What is going on here?
Oh, the zone. Oh my god. Koro, this is your fault. It was calm, and PUBG went whee up towards the northeast.
Hey, I was talking about how good the northeast is, all right? You got a compound in the northeast. God. One circle comes, you're goated. Krint right now, best spot in the circle. They could even go further northeast if they wanted to, but they don't have to. I'm just saying, this is exactly what I wanted to see. I'm happy.
Chaos. Koro's melting, but he's melting everybody else now, as they've got to go for the mass migration, and it's that risk versus reward. Ascend, put up towards the compound. Here the car's leaving, they turn back round, as now Bushido looking to do the same. Bushido, though, they will swing the sword and arrive, irrelevant if there's cars coming or going. They want to get involved, but they need the points here. So I'm waiting, though. He comes through, though. Pre-fire comes out, and Celtic is going to go down. Underarm, nade, looking for the confirmation now. To go for the reposition.
Tough times for Bushido. They want to get the roof, but the roof is not going to be safe for very long. Look up. proning around in it. Ascend backfilling this as well. Maybe just want to be cruising on through. But Ascend is in one of those spots. A few kill points is all they really need. Chris says 1-2. That's it for me. Björn's still busy getting on the roof. Chris has already arrested everybody in the compound. And that's exactly what Ascend need. Every single point puts them so much closer to qualification.
There's a very good clean points as well. They could have crashed in early, but they opted to deviate away. They saw the second set of cars come in. Then they came back for some more. Good third-party action, big brain plays. Arctic's now showing that's not just about the big brains, but the spray that comes through from the M4 to kill confirmed for them. A team that doesn't need the points. There's a puncher's way to hopefully another victory.
I'm loving it. Look at the map. Look at the southwest. That's a respawn corner of the map. 3 teams in there. FaZe getting camped. Dope camping. Hive trying to get the respawns in. The meta is shifting. The game's changing. And our players are adapting. What does James want to do with this? I'm not so sure. Looks like he's getting out of dodge. Looks like the observer's going to stick around. Why? James is driving into a red zone. And you know he wants it.
No, he's hit the handbrake. No, I don't want to go there. I'm going to wait for it.
Friendship with FaZe is cancelled.
Absolutely love it. Hive on the other side, though. You might know there's teams potentially looking for the revive system at the moment. Back on the other side of things, there's VP taking a centralized compound now. Ish. Especially when we have to give up some of the water. That's the zone. Well, still more on that east side. Looks like he's going to reposition that car a little bit further in. They will just wait. Remember, CSCS are still very much out in the blue. Win or Die still driving around outside the blue, having fun. Definite victory lap for them at the moment. And gotta love that the Slowstorm had a chance to go back for the blue chips, but due to Head of My Bad and his discipline, he refused to give it up.
I want to see how many reses Slow Jacket got for Krint, right? They were 9th place if I'm not mistaken. They got blasted in this early game, but he's gotten some reses. I don't know how many, but he's gotten some. And they are #1 contender here. ADR is a team as well. They could push themselves into the top 8, but they need a much bigger game than Krint. And they are EPing across this zone right now. Bye-bye, James. Hive and FaZe are just shaking hands in the blue this entire tournament. Not sure what's going on, but they both have a similar read on how to be playing these games. ADR is parachuting into the middle. They're one of the teams that we're looking for. Vanos respawning right now for Krint as well. So those are teams that we're looking out for. Ascend, 2 points is good, but it's not enough to be safe.
No. Good timing, actually, on that recall. He kind of come in during the chaos of the E-pickup, so it was one of many that were in the sky at the time. SlamG, 1 kill at the moment. That was with Artix as he brought the player from CSS rotating past. They're still on the outside edge. Dive still holding the blue chips down. They're refusing to give them up. No one's there to get it back, but that VP, chips passing in the night with NWG just now going past them. They got an understanding that they're here. There's a couple of shots. They did play in from the west, but who they know about the next? The shots are coming out. Blue Crux is there. Quite get the knock, and that was a good hold. Fortunately for NWG, not just losing 1, but losing 2.
Yeah, bit of shots come in and knock comes back. Beamy's the one suffering. Luca wants to save the day, but gets himself knocked instead. Now, they gotta clean this up nice and fast. Senka Pow Pow's on an angle as well. He could be absolutely disastrous to Nixie here. He's cruising on in with a smoke in hand, but doesn't know about the player behind him. And the second he jumps out of that car, that should become a little bit rough. Are they going for the 2v1 first? Are they going for the drive-by first? I'm not sure what the plan is for VP, but this could be big points for NWG if they close this out.
Yeah. Could be good bird points, but no. First nade will come through. Down to Senka. He's going to sneak his way behind. He wasn't spotted, though, by Nixie to start with, but he's definitely been spotted now. Nade comes on. He goes for that confirmation, trying to get the point on the board. Does get the spray. Catches 1, goes himself back into cover. Senka will try and hold though, and he catches, he jumps out. Oh my god, the points could be huge, but it could be better when they get the recalls back and revive their players if they got the time. But CSCS also locking it in.
Locking it in, making this harder than it maybe could have been for NWG. Suffering in the process, though. Workout mode gets absolutely popped off that bike. Dante activates. And the last red zone of the game is off. Observers not getting what they want. Dope get a triple recall, by the way. Into an entirely free compound on that northeastern edge. Into possibly a late game here. This is actually crazy.
Yeah, because SlamG's been holding that northeast corner for a while now, so they're going to obviously see the shoots and draw their attention back, but at least they get the opportunity to get some gear back in the back pocket. AWG, AWM, looking to continue in the game. Phase number 4, 5 meds. He has to pop them on the right timing. He has to try and work his way in, and with CSCS, let's move just yet. 90 seconds on the clock before they need to move. He's just gone from 5 to 8. He's got more meds in his back pocket.
He's got a ton of meds. They've got 5 frags, but the gap was 7 points, right? The gap to Fairy Tail was 7 points. Fairy Tail is still alive. Sen's already gotten themselves points, so they need a whole lot more here, NWG. If they can't get the reses, if they can't somehow pull off a miracle here, which they shouldn't be able to, it's going to be a long road.
It's going to be a long road. As I have made that road very long for some of the teams. As I said before, they was looking to hold out, but so far they are top of the table. As of Hope, not had the hand dealt that they wanted this time round, but I'm sure this team will go for a reset and reposition. And towards the thick of things, though, Hive currently in 5th place now, taking some shots towards CSCS as they have to drive their way forward, giving up the hold though on NWG. Lavante, he falls.
That's that recall coming in, essentially being a free point. ADR sitting pretty in the middle. Ascend sitting pretty. Fairy Tail sitting pretty. A lot of teams around the cutoff in really good spots for the late game. Corinth, though, they need every single point. They get one more here. Would have loved to get the second. Would have loved to get an even more of a loot injection as well. Now they know at least CS is next to them. They might have done their homework as well, Mark. They might know that CS is not full members, but look at this. Vanos, he's dipping into the blue. He's got nothing. He needs every single bit of loot he can get. He's barely getting that first hit off. One tick.
Oh, wow.
One tick of the zone. Barely gets it through. Corinth stay alive. 3 frags and counting. It's going to get so close.
Fortunately, NWG, that's them out now. Let's just fall towards the zone. He had to go get those meds quick as he could. Get off in time, though. But now with the nades coming in from CSCS, they now know for Corinth. Some team trying to hold him out. Sloy has the angle now, exposes the 2 players from CSCS. But they've also got other problems here because Slam, they want to produce a lot more points to confirm their position. And they have to draw the attention away from CSCS.
They need that. They need that. It doesn't connect onto Akim, though. Akim turns around on Sloy Jacket. Mosport lives. It's over for Krint. The dream is off. Out. Krint. 10th place this game. Not going to be enough. Hive might have something to say about this. CSCS.
Oh,
Not looking good. Dante with the last bullet. Fade away. And CSCS say goodnight as well. Their tournament run is over. They had a good one. But it's not enough.
not enough. Unfortunately, now we start to lose. Then storing that 2 points. Aim from the roof to provide cover in fire. That can't been deleted. He knows where to shoot for that. And completely immobilized Skittles. Can try and expose that smoke. Will now go. Hopefully, they might be praying they've got shield. Ascend. Full control at the moment. Control Fairy Tail coming in from the west. Control Skittles pushing in from the southeast corner, and they might find themselves in a position to secure their spot towards the Masters. That's going to be happening next week.
Taking matters into their own hands here, ruining a lot of the teams in their path there. That was important shots towards Fairy Tail. There's more important shots towards Fairy Tail coming in still here from Paints and the rest of the squad from the roofs. They're going to do every single bit of damage that they can. Fairy Tail is direct competition. Skittles was direct competition. But this ain't looking good for Fairy Tail, I must say, Mark. They're so far in the open here, and Hive Nothing to lose. Aggressive. They're gonna hunt this. This is blowing up. Skittles is out, and surely Fairy Tail out here in a matter of seconds as well.
Yep. They tried to send towards that middle ball when we saw Esports unfortunately lose to VP so long ago. Nade will come through. Hive looking to try and delete out Fairy Tail, but look at this. Ascend, no, they need some points now. They're starting to leave the compound. They're going to work their way around the back of Fairy Tail, but have they even thought about this push coming out? No, it's Chris, gets the spray, doesn't get the connection, but Koa, he cooks the nade.
Cooks the nade. It's a good bounce. It's a little far off, but they got more where that came from. They got manpower here. Love this from Ascend, not going out alone, right? Second nade does the job. It's Chris alone. Might have not been able to do it. Fairy Tail somehow turned this around onto Hive, which is crazy to me. But it's worked out for them so far. Now the spam is coming in from Ascend, and Ascend knows the kill feed as well, right? I said that's direct competition. Ascend know this. They're not waiting around. They're not wasting any time here. They see a weakened opponent, and they want to close this out.
Yeah, when it's going out that sort of west side, they know they're covered as well. 100 ADR can,
Oh my
all they can
God.
do is read the kill feed. Spam through the smoke. Just puts himself in towards cover. He gets it as well. GG's. That's up to 6 here. Ascend might be taking it into their hands. We're in the placement points now. It's a 4 versus 4 versus 3 versus 3. And Ascend looking to take the fight as everyone else is now fighting up in the northwest corner.
Rough times for Fairy Tail, blown apart. Not even in placements. Ascend farming, classic best of one Ascend, right? Always in the last game. Like you said,
Best
it
of one.
always in the last game. The amount of gray hairs I got when I was coaching them, you have absolutely no idea. Hive are sending it, they're blasting through, and they are gonna get blasted here. Is ADR getting the kill points though? That's the big question. And yes, they do. ADR, I have no idea how many they're on, Mark, but they're on a couple, and they might do it here in the last game as well.
One game antics as they ascend. Love it. It always is the case, though. It is always the case. 100 ADR, 7 kills. There's your number. We're in the placement points as well. So 2 next will be up for grabs. They have the position, but they've also got Ascend on their backs. A good nade might roll down the hill. Will bounce past, up and over the roof, funny enough.
What?
But it does damage as well through the front door.
Through the window, I think.
Expected it to come through, but that was maybe a once in a lifetime. Yeah, had to be. Here comes the molly. He has to go out. But oh my God, Payne pre-launches one around the corner, expecting him to come out. Great nade from him. Now Ascend driving for a victory.
Sexy stuff. Good util. Aggressive. Confident. No problem at all. I think ADR was on 7 there, but that's Slam G slamming it down. That's another one. Surely on the drive by Boostic should be done for. He's living a bit longer than he should.
Yeah, he's done.
Ascend clean everything up, but I swear, Mark, ADR's done it.
I think ADR done it as well, because they've got some big kills, right?
Yes.
12 kills. Good placement points from the guys from Ascend. One game antics for Ascend. It was close. It was close down to the end.
They
But a lot of
played 2
teams-
games this qualifier, Mark. Ascend literally played 2
First
games.
and last.
Yeah.
First and last. What you're telling me. Literally, it's the case. They came out swinging. Really aggressive game on Miramar, day number 1, and they went out swinging. One Rangaldo on game number 8. It could be enough. It could be enough. Actually, I'm 99.99% sure it is enough for them to
Yeah.
get an opportunity to look back. But yeah, they've got to make sure they get a bit more consistency up there, and when they punch their ticket to come back in Masters.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They gotta step it up for Masters, but this is a different roster, right? This is a roster that's never played together. Heaven's been coaching them for a while. They haven't really played with Bjorn at all. I even had a bit of a mistake on the first day of the broadcast because I assumed they would play with Xerath again, which they tried to play a different TPP went with. So this is completely new, fresh roster, without the IGL, right?
Yep.
Massive change there. Wouldn't expect them to dominate here, but it's good to see them qualify. I was a little worried for them. I think Ascent not qualifying for the Masters would have been rough, but they locked that in nice and easily in the last game. But I think here as well, ADR with that first game today and that last game today, they also kind of only played those 2, but it's also enough, I think.
Yeah. I think you're right. I do think you're right. When you get enough points on the board, it might only be 2 games for Ascend. It seems to be enough. Good games, good antics. Obviously, we saw a lot of the new, I suppose, the patch come into play again, as we saw the double BRDM play out. We saw C4. Interesting plays. I definitely feel like Rondo with the double solo, no gear, all the ideas, double second place. Would I like to see more of it? I don't know. I would like to have seen Gustav just arrive from the heavens at the end, but he played it really, really well.
I mean, this game is the PUBG in 2025 kind of game. BRDM, double BRDM, C4 ending, all of the antics you could ever imagine. And then the next one was FaZe getting created. I'm the more I watch, the more I get around to the idea of blue chip recalls. I think they're just fine. I think they're just an addition to the game that's good. Because sometimes they go massively wrong. A lot of the times they're really interesting, and sometimes they provide us with a treasure like Gustav did in that game.
Yeah, 100%. And even the treasure from our Win or Die team, where they just held out the blue chip. They knew that Slowstorm had to go back to try and get the blue chips, to keep the bodies up, to stand in a chance to qualify. So I think it works multiple ways, but he's definitely one, I agree. I think I was quite open with it, but I think it's one of the first things I was like, oh, actually, that could be really interesting from a viewer's point of view. That actually, I'd love to see, as you mentioned before, how these sort of teams and players adapt to these new changes. And maybe they've not got the meta down just yet. Maybe we're going to see it change. Maybe they're not going to go as aggressive, or maybe we see them go more aggressive for these recalls. But I definitely think there's room for improvement as the teams figure out how to play it.
Sure, for sure. For sure. Again, shout out to Gustav. I think he's had a bit of a rough run in the last few tournaments, but he played this one to perfection. This is what I mean as well, right? PUBG is all about adapting. No one's ever done this before. But you, in the moment, you have to figure it out. You have to figure out what you're doing. In the moment, you have to make the right decisions. He made every right decision there. Slowstorm, sad times for them. I think they had a valiant effort. They played a good tournament. They got really close. They pulled it together after their day one, where they were just EPing everywhere. I mean, you touched on it, right?
Yeah.
And they came back really well on day number 2, but there's just a lot of big dogs in this lobby that are really, really hard to beat. So no shame being the bottom 8 here.
No, and we remind everyone of the format. So obviously this is where you and your friends, family, want to also get involved. You just need to sign up and just go in towards the scrims. Do best of 3s over the course of the week, and if you get enough points on the board, it does allow you to enter yourself into this stage. And then there are 2 of these. So we do this back-to-back weeks normally, where we'll take a top 8 either side, and they will go through to either 2 parts: the Masters, which is the big prize pool, or we go through towards the Super Cup again, which has a inflated prize pool compared to this stage. But from here onwards, you'll be finding yourself with money up for grabs if you can find yourself at the top of it. But you'll also be finding, more importantly, the ticket through to the next. There's our qualified teams, and yes, it was close at the end, but Skittles hold on, and 180R, they punch their ticket as they go through in 7th.
Skittles ahead of Fairy Tail. I think Fairy Tail is probably the 9th place team here at 80R, easily shooting into that top 8 with the kill points they got in the last match, right? 3 placement points is all they'll get from the last game. That's not massive. But the kill points they were able to get, multiple team wipes, even wiping skills, getting the better of Slam G there at the end, gets them into Masters. And just in the same fashion that we've always seen them make it, right? ADR was always a team that just puts kill point on the board. So with this new format, not surprised to see them make the finals. I was more surprised to see them so far down on the leaderboard for such a big part of this tournament.
Yeah, we talk about these points and leaderboard as well. Look at that. Slam G do crown themselves at the top, but look at the amount of placement points. 9 really shows that the second day was really the better day for them. Obviously, we only see Win or Die, Hive, Ascend going for double digits, and everyone else kind of maybe got 1, maybe 2 good sort of placements, but it all relies on the kills, and this is part of that change up with the point system. You've got to go get those kills. It's making it more aggressive. You've got to be adaptive, and these players, they are high caliber. They're thinking on their feet, and it is a high cutoff. 33 though. Skittles do find themselves over the threshold as Fairy Tail yet unfortunately do fall short. So they've got to reset. They've got to fight their way through the scrims and back to the PUBG Player Cup. But 33 points was the cutoff this time.
Would have expected Fairy Tail in there, but very, very close. Very, very close for them. And Krint, fairly close for CS and NWG as well, right? You can't say that they were far off here. And another disappointment for Bushido. But it is becoming a bit of a theme. They haven't really just been consistent. They're not always disappointing, but they are inconsistent at best.
Yeah, I look. Do you know what? I big kudos as well. I thought they might sort of slam their way through, and I kind of was like, didn't really talk about 100 ADR, but they dug deep. They wanted it. They had the grit to send it through towards the Masters. Well, that's it from us, though. As I mentioned before, though, they are our qualified 16 teams. They'll be coming back next week for the PUBG Master Cup to duke it out for Masters 2 with a big prize pool. Cara, thank you very much for jumping in. Thank you to all the production. Thank you for the admins, everything that make it happen behind the scenes. Thank you to Benny, more importantly, doing all the amazing observing and catching all those super planes, but not this time when it comes down to the red zone. We'll see all of you guys and girls, though, in the battlegrounds. Make sure you keep playing PUBG. We'll see you next time.